watch the. I'm just gonna be deafened. So.
All right, we're live.
All right, cool. I will post in the Discord. We are in fact live. Don't start the trailers just yet.
It's ready to go. Just waiting.
All right, hold on.
This is
Fucking
casual
second.
though. We're eating an apple. Like I feel like people are gonna show up and like, oh, they're watching some trailers. This is cool. Let's punch it.
Hold on,
We're eating apples over here.
I know I'm trying to like post in our announcements channel that we're live, so I'm not watching the stream. One
That's
second.
interesting. Hello, 4Player podcast. Let's see. Are real reviews out for Long Legs yet, or is it still like pre-promo reviews? Oh no, it looks like they're actually getting some more.
Oh, is that a?
What's it
right?
sitting at right now? I'm going tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I'm going on Friday.
The 66 reviews, 89%, not certified.
Not bad.
So a lot of movies will do this shit sometimes where you look, are like, oh, that's on Rotten Tomatoes, and then there's like 15 reviews, and you're just like, okay, what's going on here? It was sitting at 100%
for the first like 15 or 16.
But it's all a scam, right? I mean, they know the game. They know the game.
Yes.
And so based on that, I was like, well, I guess I don't really know what this is, especially because a lot of like the quote unquote scores for those reviews were like not glowing, like they weren't like super high. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is a wait and see, because it's hard to grok when there's only so many.
Hey, Chris Davis.
Yes.
I just posted another link in the channel. There's this. I had not tried this one yet, but there's this tool in EVGA Precision X1. If you boot that up, it will literally let you manually set like clock speeds and stuff like that. And so I booted that up, and my GPU instantly like kind of spun up, and so you don't actually even have to have a game going. And when I did an audio test, everything worked out great for me, at least.
Well, so here's the thing: is that I've got Afterburner open right now, and ever since I started streaming OBS, my GPU is at 2745 megahertz.
Oh, that should be more than plenty.
Yeah.
What's your memory at?
Memory's at 11201.
I mean, yeah, both of those numbers are plenty high enough that you shouldn't have an issue.
Yeah.
I would maybe do a couple audio tests with that, but
let's see.
For what it's worth, everyone sounds great right now.
Do I sound great?
Well, your mic, I guess, could be a little closer. And you still got that nasally thing.
There, my mic is a little closer now.
Did anyone
ready
see
to go.
the trailer for that show Sunny with Rashida Jones and like the robot?
Testing 1 2. Test.
I have not. No.
You gotta do a longer
Testing
sound
1 2.
test.
I have never seen more of a roller coaster of tone. It's just absolute insanity. It jumps from like slapstick to like I'm about to start crying.
Why does it say we're playing Subnautica on Twitch right now?
Maybe someone was recently playing Subnautica. Carlos? Zocano, maybe?
Wow.
I don't know.
What's up, Revixie?
Revixie? Hi.
Testing 1 2.
I won't let you
test.
fool me, damn it.
Test in the microphone.
Is there a tweet? I guess there's not.
To get an audio test.
I mean,
I don't know if
I don't tweet anymore because Twitter is just
because I'm so fucking tired of these audio
like
issues.
Throwing
if it doesn't
stuff
fucking
into
stop,
a void.
I might just fucking kill someone.
Nobody sees anything.
Oh, and it's a cesspool of shit.
It is a cesspool of shit, and the algorithm doesn't favor us. So the moment I tweet anything on Twitter, it's just like, might as well have just not.
I mean,
I am
know.
contemplating maybe switching to like maybe Threads, Instagram Threads or something. I don't know.
Well, that's got to be even more dead if engagement is the concern, surely, right?
I mean, definitely engagement is the concern. I mean, it's not.
Well, I mean, but it doesn't
But
track
here-
people who just have
I'm
us
not even-
bookmarked, right?
I'm not even talking about engagement. Like engagement's not necessarily the problem because I'm saying I think there's a tiny percentage of people who actually follow us on Twitter who actually see our posts on Twitter. And then even fewer than that who actually engage. So like if it was a situation where everybody that followed us was actually seeing our tweets, even if they weren't engaging with them, that'd be one thing. But I'm convinced just a fraction of a percent of the people who follow us actually see our shit. So like it's Instagram. And we do have an Instagram account. We just don't use it right now.
Okay.
I don't know. This is not conversation I really want to be having.
Whatever.
Also, chat's dead. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we're recording on an off night, and they'll trickle in. I did an audio test on Audacity. I spoke for like 20 seconds, no issues. So I guess I'll try broadcast again tonight.
Sure. Hey, look. Last time, I'm going to be honest. Last week, I just ended up using the Twitch audio from both segments. I was going to end up spending
but it's somehow Crispy's fault.
Crispy.
I mean,
It was also partially my fault because my recording stopped, or I didn't realize my recording had stopped in the second segment. But whatever, that's neither here nor there.
okay. How about we do a trailer talk?
What's up, Winged?
Question: Is it a 5-minute trailer talk, or are we just gonna go a little bit longer? What are we aiming for here?
We can do whatever we want, man. I'm just saying it'll, you know how it goes. At about 11 o'clock, people are going to be expecting.
Yeah.
Start wrapping it up. So, but I'm not
Single
going to
segment show, baby. We're gonna.
I'm not going to say single segment show, even though I'm thinking it. Okay. What's up, Brad Skate for Life? All right, let's just go. Let's just watch some trailers. This is what we're here for.
Yeah. You see the Discord feed?
The Discord feed.
I'm just making certain that you can see it.
Yes, we can see the footage, Chris Davis.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go.
I don't know if I can hear it yet. I can hear it. Hooray! Shoes.
So I played the demo for Angerfoot, and it is something.
Oh.
I played the demo as well. It's 3D Hotline Miami. I think it's out today or tomorrow. Today.
It looks fun. Is it fun?
It is. It's exactly like Brad describes. It's 3D Hotline Miami with like this bombastic soundtrack to it.
From the people what made Broforce and some other things, I think.
They're focusing so much on the shoe.
They made that VR game, like that Coliseum one.
I like how, like, in every shot of this trailer, like he's holding a gun, but I never see him actually fire the gun. He's just kicking dudes.
Oh, you fire plenty of guns.
Yeah, it's Angerfoot. Okay. Oh wow! I mean, it's primarily a first-person kicker, but
that game comes out tomorrow. What's up, World Teller and Bog Noise? Yeah. All right, trailer. Okay, trailer's looped. We can move on. Metal Slug Tactics.
So it's out tomorrow. Hope it's good. So I think we've shown this before, but I've since played the demo, but not so much of it. So like, I think when we watched this trailer the last time, we didn't know that like, hey, this is a roguelike. Did y'all know this was a roguelike and not just a tactics game?
I did not. No.
Yeah, they said that, and a lot of people weren't enthused.
So like, well, I mean, so the thing is, I think the idea of doing a roguelike, I don't know if I put a trailer.
Doesn't a roguelike for something like this kind of imply that like level design is going to be like?
Well, I mean,
the appeal of these games, I imagine in the past, is like the levels are designed so tightly that it challenges the player.
For strategy, so there are strategy RPGs where level design is better than others, right? Like, like a Final Fantasy Tactics, right? Sure, this isn't going to be that, and a roguelike's probably not going to have level design like that. I will say from the demo that there is still like, it's not just like a completely flat map. There is some like verticality and some like interesting stuff there. Right. But I will say there are plenty of like tactical Into the Breach is a tactical roguelike game that that relies a lot on, just really good AI and design. So it doesn't need like the most complex map design, but it still manages to have pretty complex map design. I don't think that that's necessarily going to be the issue with this game. I was actually a little bummed out that this wasn't a regular game because not because I don't think that, because I think making a good roguelike is very hard to do. And I don't trust that this developer knows how to make a really good balanced roguelike that you can just play forever. That's really hard to do. And I was surprised. So I was surprised and a little disappointed to find out that it was a roguelike for that reason. But we'll see. The other thing is, I don't know if I put a trailer on here. Tactical Breach Wizards also comes out this year. And that's a game. I played the demo for that. And I was surprised to find out that one's not a roguelike. That is just like a single player tactics game. And it was the opposite. I was disappointed that wasn't a roguelike, because I thought that was a game that did have like relatively tight design, more like Into the Breach, and it could have benefited. It felt like a game that maybe you could play forever if it was like a well-made roguelike. So it was like the opposite. I was disappointed on both ends that they weren't the other thing that they were not. And yeah, but we can move on.
So I just did want to mention real quick that the developer of Metal Slug Tactics is Liker Studio, and their last game was Rogue Lords, and that obviously is a roguelike. So
yeah, and I heard that was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the question thing of the day. All right, Satisfactory. Oh yeah, Satisfactory's getting a one. Who
This
has this
got
on
a
their
1.0.
fantasy critic?
I
Is this on
do.
Ed's? Oh, it's on yours. That's right. You fucking bought this, you bitch.
Yeah, I spent money on it.
I put in a bid for it in one of my other leagues.
I just think it's been a long time coming, and people seem really excited. It's a very well regarded early access. So
Yeah, no, for
hopefully,
sure.
hopefully it does well. I mean,
I'm gonna be honest. This trailer is not exactly what I was expecting. It's almost.
I did not actually watch this trailer when I added it. I mean, I did not. I just saw it was the 1.0 announcement trailer. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's throw some Satisfactory on it, because I tried to get all our fantasy critic stuff on here at some point, and I was like, well, okay.
What the?
Toilet flush. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Cool.
It's coming. Woo.
So they're trying to channel some Metal Gear Solid in there, right? Looks like.
Doesn't smell like an 88 trailer, but let's hope. Fingers crossed. We can move on. This is a game I've been wanting to play, though, so I'm glad it's coming out in 1.0. Guess what this is, Nick?
I missed the little title in the top left, so I don't know. Oh, it's East.
I told you. Okay.
It was East trash.
No, I'm asking you because it is on your list. Potential point earner here.
It's also a game I've told you multiple times. I'm not going to play this. This is obviously
I've never asked you to play Eastgate.
You just told me it's on my list of potential points for my stupid.
I know, but you're probably thinking of the Trails game that came out a couple weeks ago.
Trails,
which I did.
East. I'm not going to play
Dawnbreak?
either of those.
Yeah.
You're so racist.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or
this is
Daybreak.
me being racist.
Yeah,
You got me.
it's more just you know so little about these games, yet you're so sure they're not.
Why do you say that? Because I've been on this podcast.
You just said so.
I've been on this podcast for so long. I know more about East and Trails than the average person, probably. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert on it.
Well,
but like,
East is like the more like accessible. So like the problem with the Trail series is they're all connected, and they say you got to play them all. Like obviously there's allegedly good starting points, but whatever. Like the true fans, it's like a really contentious topic amongst that fandom where some people are trying to like stop the gatekeepers within and say, hey man, there's some good starting points, just pick up on a random one. And other people say, no, you're not going to get the emotional impact. You got to start from the beginning. You got to start from Trails in the Sky. It's very contentious, and people fight about it too. They're trying to be anti-gatekeepers.
If you're not playing Yakuza 0, you're doing it wrong.
Anyways, the thing about East is the stories, they're not connected. They don't matter. You really can pick up any of them. And this is a pretty accessible action RPG. You could just dive right in and just hack and slash. I have talked about East games. You're right, Nick. But I'm saying
look, if I play this to get my not racist license from you, it's going to be because I'm panicking and it's near the end of the year and I need 3 more points.
I know. What I'm saying is it's fine for your response to playing a Trails game to be, oh hell no, but it's that oh hell no really should not be on the same level as an oh hell no, I'm not going to play an East game because the graphics are kind of lame, you know? Like they are very, very different games in terms of accessibility, you know? I'm just saying.
Like, don't even bring the graphics up. This is not has nothing to do with why I'm immediately.
What is it? Is it the outfits? If it's not the graphics, what is it?
It's not. Oh my god!
Is it the white?
No, you got to answer now. Okay.
It's super fucking anime, and I'm just not into that shit. I don't know what to tell you.
How rude.
So it's the outfits, right? But it's just an action RPG.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's like Diablo. Yeah, I mean, you just hack and you slash, man.
Grey Woos is right. It doesn't watch it like it just doesn't touch my soul.
Touch his soul.
It doesn't touch my soul.
We know it touched Nick. We know it touches Nick's souls. This is a year about exploring, you know, broadening your horizons.
Right. But I'm also, but like I'm playing stuff.
You made your point. My point was that don't ignore this the same way you would ignore a Trails game, because that's probably the good idea.
I promise you. If it comes down to me having to play an East or a Trails game, I will pick East and I will do it.
That's all I wanted to get across. Let's move on to the next trailer.
What the fuck?
Is Twisted Metal.
Well, you know.
Why is there no? First of all, I can't hear it. But
yeah, I don't know what happened to the audio. There we go.
Well, turn up your little YouTube thing is really low.
Is there gonna be some licensed music in here we need to worry about?
Maybe. Us worry though? Come on. Don't be silly. The thing is, we have a channel, right? And this was thrown in. Dude, crank this shit up. This shit's too good to not hear.
Oh my god! Look, this is.
Twisted
Metal Black was pretty cool, but you know what?
It was.
I mean,
this is in our Discord. Somebody posted this. A community member.
Do you remember who posted it?
I can go look. It's a good ad. It's a good game. Good ad. Good
Metal
vibes.
Black was sick. If I was to ever want to go back and play a Twisted Metal game these days, it'd probably be Black.
That's the one you played, though, right?
That's the one I've played the most of. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. That's fine.
I think I've played a fair amount of Twisted Metal too.
I think you can get it on your PS4. All right, next one.
Oh man, we're going back.
Can you turn it up a little bit? Can we get a little more volume on these videos, Christopher?
What the fuck is this shit?
What the fuck is this, Brad?
This is added in our Discord.
What a bonehead. But at least he got to keep his soul.
Is this what game commercials used to be?
Slapdog and Dano posted this one. Yes, this is what game commercials used to be.
You know what?
I got this rocket off the surplus store, and hey, watch it. I'm gonna be the fastest human being in the world.
You mean
From a surplus store?
All I gotta do is flip this switch.
when they were good? Yes.
Idiot. But at least he got to keep his soul.
No one even watches commercials, right? Because everyone.
Oh my
just
god!
streams
Look
that
how
shit.
fucking hard it is to even make out the details of the game.
I haven't seen a commercial until today on my YouTube for some.
360p like video.
Sub 360p.
Yeah.
Well, you know, what are you gonna do? It's always nice when someone manages to dig up some like high quality like rip of a.
And you can tell
old-ass
they've
thing
done
like
like passes over this with filters and AI and shit to try and smooth it out. Like it looks terrible.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it probably looks better than what the alternative would be. But damn.
It's a better use for AI than a lot of things that people are trying to accomplish these days. To be fair.
Introducing a world where you take more than life. You take the soul.
Oh man. Remember when Embracer was buying all that IP and we were like hopeful for anything?
We were
for them doing anything.
We
All right, we
foolish.
can move on.
I wonder
Yeah,
if she's gonna get to keep her soul.
I bet so.
This one was also posted in our Discord by I believe Yeti.
I have played this, and it is fun.
You played a demo?
No, I played the game.
This came out earlier this year, and it was it's a Papers Please like,
It's family friendly fantasy Papers, Please.
and it's fully voice acted, which is crazy.
Yep.
It got good reviews too. This is a well reviewed, well liked game. It just came out in January. No one was really paying attention because it was January.
Because we were too busy playing Dragon's Dogma.
Well, I mean, not in January, but people were like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the gym or something because New Year, woo!" I don't know. What are people doing in January that they're not playing video games?
No drink January.
Make Game of the Year content.
Ah, yes. I was too busy talking about the games I played last year to play new games.
Yeah, this was a Harry Yeti posted this one.
Yeah, the whole premise is that your father is this drunk gambler that has pushed his work off onto you as managing the entryway into the kingdom. There's always people trying to get in to do different things. So
why did you have to describe your father as like his
first off, fuck you.
Addictions? I mean,
but here the thing is that you can act when you manage who gets into the kingdom, like it directly affects like the populace and what goes on in the game. Like there is one of the early ones is like this Snow White like character who is actually this psychotic murderer, and you have to pay some lyrics to actually call her out. It's funny, Papers, Please.
I mean, Papers, Please is funny, but in kind of like a
depressing way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's funny. Also, too real.
This has a really nice look to it.
Also posted in our Discord.
Please tell me, is this made in Japan? Can I play this one for some points?
Oh, fucking Nick, just stop digging the hole deeper.
Just
what?
You're about to hit bedrock at this point.
No, this is not made in Japan. Come on.
I mean, I'm digging this.
Is this a beat 'em up? I can't tell what this is.
I think it's I'm gonna guess music plays a role in it. I don't.
Posted by MB.
Oh, what? This is unexpected.
It's like,
oh my goodness!
It's
like a side scroll. What the fuck?
Side-scrolling rhythm
looks
game?
sick, dude. This looks rad.
Is it speaking to your soul, Nick?
This is definitely speaking to my soul.
Does it spark joy?
It sparks joy, but it's not made in Japan.
Definitely has some Persona vibes to the menus.
Dude, I love the way this looks.
Or the UI.
Unbeatable. I am gonna add that to my wish list.
Music is illegal.
Dude, that's pretty sick.
And you do crimes.
Okay.
I love doing crimes.
All right.
I love the visuals.
Yeah.
Let's hope the video game is good. This one we're not going to watch all of.
Oh, this is the one where... Yeah, this is the giant cop, and you kind of interact with him to do things.
And Jumpsuke posted this in our Discord.
By the way, that Unbeatable comes out next year. Yep. But it looks sick.
Visually.
I mean, it also speaks to my soul. Like the content of the game speaks to my soul. So
I do like a good, young ladies getting together, playing some rock and roll.
Yeah. Why is this man giant?
Why not?
Boucher. Sonji, by the way, thanks for the subscription. We see that. 16 months. Woo!
Yeah, thank you.
Big fan of We Are the Best.
What is this game?
I
believe this is just someone playing this game, by the way, so you can skim through. It was more, one, it was posted in our Discord, and two, I think the premise of, hey, you're doing things while a giant cop watches you, and I think you can
do murder.
Like befriend him? Yeah.
Ah! That was scary.
I remember watching a developer video about this game, and I remember nothing about it.
Dude, this is actually kind of cool. What the fuck? So it's like trying to sneak by and do crimes to like progress while avoiding this giant cop.
Yeah. Tell you what, this would be kind of a cool like concept for a PvP VR game.
Okay, you ruined it. You ruined it. We had a good thing, and you ruined it.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying
had to
that is an idea.
That is a game I would not play.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Militianer?
That would be cool in VR.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. We could skip though. I mean, this is a. I mean, it's.
I don't
not
even know how to. Oh, there it is. Militia.
I have no. It's what it's called. Only at night. What, is that?
No,
What
it's called
No,
Militianer.
Militianer.
Oh, Militianer.
Every
This
move
movie-
you make is being followed by a colossal policeman. Piss him off.
This is
flatter,
a trailer
disappoint
that is
him.
surprisingly a completely different kind of game, but a similar energy. I feel like.
By the way, real quick, that Militianer is described on its Steam page as an immersive sim. I'm in.
This is a game where you're playing as like a big cop, and it's like a town builder, village builder. But I think they like
Ooh.
only work when you're like looking at them, so you're like moving your eye around or some shit.
Okay.
So it's thematically, I think, similar to that last game, maybe.
Just very, very different. What do you call it? Approach to like the presentation, obviously. Different genres,
And
and also
I mean,
from the reverse
I hate to be that
perspective.
guy, but I feel like this one speaks to my soul a little bit more than that
That's
last one.
cool. The king is watching. Ooh, there's a demo now.
That's cool. Yeah, I haven't played the demo, but I did.
Okay,
I
Here we
want
go.
to skip
This
to the
is-
beefy stuff.
okay, please do. This is a 10-minute demo, but this
Yeah.
is the game. This is coming out this month, and I brought this up a couple weeks ago on the podcast during the 4Player Minute, and I've been waiting to kind of see what it looks like, and I haven't watched this yet.
I mean,
It's
the
detective.
trailer
It's like
that came out a few weeks ago, this is just like a 10-minute version of that.
Right, but like the trailer from weeks ago was just like just a bunch of quick cuts and whatnot. So you have this like futuristic contraption on your arm that'll do like rewind time and do various things to like investigate.
The
was an extremely powerful figure in this world order. He held a huge amount of influence over the last 200 years. A titan of the privileged top 1%.
Analyze this man's face.
yeah.
So, that's his insurer's problem.
Sarah, he's dead.
I'm all about detective shit, but it's gotta feel like you're the one making the decisions. You know what I mean? Like,
You should try that.
Suspected murder.
What's it called? Her Story, I believe it's
shut
called.
up. Shut up.
Jeez.
There's also the Golden Idol games. You know, they got the new one coming out later this year.
I
Rise
have
of the
thought
Golden
about
Idol?
playing Golden Idol, yeah.
You know, Golden Idol is
Extremely rare case of
on
theft.
mobile now.
Technological
If, free if you have Netflix. It's Netflix picked it up for mobile.
transfer between bodies.
So if that's an easier way for maybe you to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the type of game that would be good for. I mean, that would be completely fine playing mobile.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Listen, I've seen this before.
The problem is I played like a handful of cases on my computer, and I don't really want to restart it.
Yeah.
We have to report this. We have to. Anything beyond that,
it's kind of hard to get a feel for this just watching this.
So people are questioning this because you know they just sort of found out about it, or it wasn't at like some showcase, and that they're like,
No, it was
"This
actually
looks
at a
too cool."
showcase. It was at one of the E3
Oh.
showcases, or summer game. I think it was the
Well, like
PC
an
gaming
indie
show.
thing?
Or no, it was the future. What is it? The future of gaming or future, whatever that.
Yeah.
Something like
It's
that.
called.
But that's what I mean, right? They show anything.
Yeah, I mean, also it's one of those games like it's like
They can only count on
the trailer is made to like look super just cinematic and visually stunning and whatnot, but like obviously, and it's from a studio that has never made a game before that I know of. I don't think they have. So it's just, you know,
Yeah.
how much can we realistically expect? I mean,
a detective
Well, I'm sure there will be reviews. So.
new body.
yeah.
Work is like a drug for James Carter.
Maybe, I don't know.
I
If
mean,
it
I
doesn't
like
get
to look at the
drowned out.
gadgets. I like the emphasis on detective work, and I also like the fact that it's like futuristic, like cyberpunk shit. That's
I mean, they describe it as like 24th century, but like everything's the 1930s.
Probably the only one who dares to take it on.
that's weird.
That's cool. Yeah, I really
So
like
the
the premise of
writings-
this, like the idea
The
that
writing's going to be super critical here.
yeah, because I mean the whole premise is that like the government they've conquered death and the government regulates it. So
that's
when you
right.
turn like 18, you sort of had to pay an annual subscription for your life. So if you inadvertently die, they'll transfer your consciousness into a new body if you can pay for it every year.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So
But I
this
like
is a
it.
case of an actual murder with somebody that has fully died.
Now this is our most important gadget. One that no doubt every detective would dream of having.
I'll add one more trailer
The reconstructor allows us to reconstruct
because I think this is the last one I added, but I just added the Tactical Breach Wizards trailer.
Bog Noise says life is a service. That's pretty funny.
Life as a service. Yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly.
I mean, this game kind of speaks to my soul. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was gonna.
this looks good. I want to know what the other half of this game is besides detective. You know,
Yeah.
just
So is
crime
this whole
scene
10-minute thing just crime scene investigation?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay. Because there are definitely other sides of this game, and we haven't seen it yet. But this game
Yeah.
comes out real soon.
Yeah, like 2 weeks from now.
Like, yeah, nope. Yeah, so actually no.
I think that's
July
that
17th,
is,
dude. That's next week.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
I think that's reason for concern, right? Because it's like if it's truly as cool as it looks, then I feel like I would have heard about this, right?
I mean, this is their first game, so it's probably gonna have a fair amount of jank, I would imagine.
While their body ends up at a government auction.
I'm keeping an eye on it. This could also be my underdog for the year, baby. There's always one.
Come on, don't label it that. You
Thanks,
this could
Merchant.
be dog shit.
It could be. It could also be dog shit. I don't know.
Oh, there's one other one. No, I think we watched it.
Because we decided to cut it off, just because we, as humans, focused on fighting to prolong our own existence.
What the fuck is this?
The thing is, these trailers that I'm adding, these are games that I was going to talk about
Road on it?
as the demos I played tonight, and I kind of don't want to talk about them now.
That's what she said.
We also wanted nobody wants
Maybe wait on the next trailer. Let's just end it after this,
Okay.
Yeti.
because I want to talk about that game tonight as well as this other one.
Graphically, the visions of the future and aesthetics of the 1940s
Actually, I think I showed
were
this
very
other
different
trailer
information for us. This
on
is
our
the
first
vision
trailer.
of
So are we saying this is the last? last
Yeah.
trailer for the
Yeah.
night?
And in
Okay.
fact, we could just end it whenever we're ready.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine. I got a good.
I mean, it's just about to end.
I do want to go back and watch this and actually pay like close attention to what's actually
Yeah,
going
I
on.
cut out like the first 3 minutes, which is like more of a cinematic moment.
Yeah.
We're inspired by such classics as Blade Runner, the works of Raymond Chandler, and the Black Mirror series, as well as narrative games such as What Remains of Edith Finch and Firewatch.
Okay, so he just name dropped Firewatch and What Remains of Edith Finch. So that
gets
probably
points for
tells you
Firewatch.
something about what the rest of the game is.
In theory, with this setup that you have, Chris Davis, could you play trailers during the podcast the same way you're playing them now?
We really hope that you like what we have prepared for you today. Now we can't wait for you to see more of
Not so necessarily that we have to watch them, but I mean we could in theory, right? I mean that is the setup.
Xbox and PC on July 6th.
I'm not set up to do that scenario necessarily. I can, but
Not for
I've got
tonight,
to do
one way
it
or
in
the other,
between the
that's fine.
scenes, and you got to give me
Yeah.
some grace.
Yeah.
Between scenes.
Interesting idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just because we're in that scenario, and that's why I was asking about it earlier, where I didn't. I mean, I played these demos a couple weeks ago. I didn't have time to capture footage or anything, and I'd like to talk about them, but the trailer's probably enough. But we don't we can't really talk about. We don't have the trailers for the podcast.
True that.
But Nolan did give him the downloader he uses, so maybe he'll be able to get that working.
Yeah,
for next week.
I'll experiment. Okay. There's this fucking gnat that won't leave me alone.
The endless struggle. Okay.
Endless struggle. Let me tell you, it is July, and I cannot believe my kids are sick.
Yeah,
they're kids. They're sick perpetually.
I know, like. but it's the season where they should not be sick like constantly, and I guess they haven't been. But you know, it makes you, I know where they got sick, right? That's the thing. If you want to go do something fun with your children, you're probably going to a place with other kids, and they're probably going to be sick kids, inevitably. Hate to see it, but you just kind of got to deal with it, I guess. But fuck you to that children's museum.
Yo, what's up, everybody in chat? Who's lurking tonight? Say hello and then disappear into the ether. I see
Summertime.
I see a Bombader and a Winged and a Gleeger and an Unorthodox.
Summertime is the time of the year where you don't have to weigh that. Is it worth getting sick? Because they're probably going to get sick.
Barracan.
Because in the fall, winter,
Mr. Scorpion.
When it's flu season, it's like, okay, it's probably not worth it. They're probably going to get sick. You don't have to think about that in the summertime. So when it actually happens, it makes it's sad.
Okay. Well,
also, someone I worked with on Tuesday tested positive for COVID on Wednesday. So if I get sick, it's either that or this cold that my kids have, which I don't think is COVID.
So what you're saying is that we should not plan on you being on next week.
No, I'm not saying that.
Don't say shit like that.
I mean, you're saying that like you're about to get sick either way.
Well, I mean, I wear a mask when I put Griffin down for when they have colds. I mask up in the house. Yo.
Okay, that's good.
I don't want to get their stupid fucking colds. Their nasty fucking kid colds.
I feel that.
You know, you still gotta change a lot of shits and stuff, and it's.
Tell me about it. Actually, don't. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. I'm starting my recording.
I'm recording.
I am starting the OBS recording. And now I am starting my Audacity recording.
Did anybody in chat happen to listen to the podcast from last week, like the audio version? I'm just curious if it sounded okay, because I ended up resorting to using the Twitch stream audio, and I think it was okay. But sometimes I feel like I get so like ingrained in the editing process that maybe I'm just not. I don't have.
If you think it was okay, something tells me most of these people would think it's completely acceptable. From my experience with these people.
Winged says not yet. Most times that I do that, it sounds fine, because there has been a few occasions where I had to do that. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Okay. Everybody recording? We good? I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, I was just sticking around with this stupid blur thing.
I was why is Audacity not picking up my audio? It's because my mic is muted.
Oh, that would do it.
Hey, just FYI, I'm crashing hard. I'll be here though on the show.
Okay.
Just probably low energy as fuck.
You know what that means, Brad?
We
got a single segment show.
If we fall asleep in your chair, we just let it ride, or should we text Bernadette? What do you think? What
No,
should we do?
here's what's going to happen. He's going
Like
to
if your
turn on
mouth
that
is open,
fucking...
drool's coming down. Do we just?
No, he's going to turn on that fucking NVIDIA eye tracking bullshit. And we'll
And so he
think
can
that
sleep.
he's awake and conscious, but no.
He's got like a pole tucked on the back of his shirt to keep himself like upright. It's like Weekend at Bernie's, and he's got.
Yeah, I was going to say Wicked fucking Bernie's.
That's fucking funny. All right, well then, let's not waste any more time. Let's do a roll call. Brad, you go first.
Roll call.
Nolan.
Hey, this is Nolan, and I am doing my roll call for the first and only segment of the show.
Chris Davis.
Hello, this is Chris, and I'm hopefully doing my only roll call for this show.
Yeah, guys, I think it's kind of. I think the writing's on the wall. It's gonna be my favorite kind, a single segment show. Although that didn't necessarily transpire the last time that happened. We ended up having to take a break anyways, but that's neither here nor there. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. I believe this is episode 802. It is July 10th, 2024. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, and I'm joined by Brad Simons.
Hello.
Nolan Hedstrom.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Christopher Davis.
Good evening.
And our lovely listeners watching us live on twitch.tv/4playerpodcast, as they always do. It is a Wednesday night. Usually we record these on Tuesday. I don't know if you've been paying much attention to what's going on in Texas right now, but we just got slammed by a hurricane. I think that's related to what's going on with Spectrum, I imagine. But
I think
Spectrum
I read
is
something
having
that there was
some-
like a data center in Houston that got hit a little hard.
Yeah. So,
To my knowledge, grain of salt per Reddit, there was
mhm.
some construction around the Austin area which severed a line, and normally that traffic would be routed through Houston as a redundancy, but because
Ah.
of the hurricane issue in Houston, that redundancy was not available.
So
makes
it was a double whammy, so to speak. But yeah, we got hit with a hurricane earlier this week, and it's been causing some issues all around the state. But yeah, yesterday was our normal recording day, and we were having intermittent internet service issues, so we opted to push it back a day. So here we are on a Wednesday. But you know what? We're ready and willing to talk about video games. We just did our weekly live trailer talk together. We watched some game trailers, some exciting stuff. We're gonna talk about some demos tonight. Some of which may have been featured in that trailer talk. I could be wrong. Brad, I feel like
I don't remember.
No?
I think I tried to keep those trailers off trailer talk because in
gotcha.
the past I've kind of
so as not
Much
to
better than the trailer.
retread
Yeah.
stuff on the stream. Gotcha.
yeah.
But yeah, we're shooting from the hip tonight. We're gonna talk about demos and games and what's been going on with us.
I watched A Quiet Place. You ever watch that?
I did. I watched. You mean day one, right? The prequel,
Yeah.
the new one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. What you think?
It was, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was not my favorite. I still think I like the second one the most.
Oh, interesting. I think I
but,
like the one the lead.
Really.
Yeah,
You know, I can never.
maybe-
It's
Maybe my order is 1-3-2.
1-3-2, huh? I'd say mine is.
I don't know. Two is good. I don't know. It just felt. I think it came out when I was playing like The Last of Us. I don't know. It seems like it hits a lot of the post-apocalyptic beats that I see a lot these days, and maybe that's just why I wasn't.
Sure.
No.
That's definitely possible. You know, and this new one I think is pretty good. All I'll say is that like I think the cat does a lot of heavy lifting. That's not to say
The cat.
that Lupita Nyong'o doesn't do a fantastic job. And why am I the actor who plays the male lead? I can't remember his name because he's still fairly new, but he was from Stranger Things. He was
Yeah, I don't think I'd seen that guy before. But
he was in the fourth season of Stranger Things. He was the fan favorite character in that, and he's in everything. He's in the new Gladiator movie. He's popping up everywhere.
The new Gladiator movie.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing? I watched the trailer for that, and I'm like, why is this a thing?
Because Gladiator 1
5
made a lot of
years.
money 25 years ago, and Ridley Scott wanted to make another one.
That's
Well, it's
not-
Joseph. First of all, Persuade and Chat nailed it. Thank you. It's Joseph Quinn. Much appreciated.
He's a British chap, this Joseph Quinn?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
But
okay.
He's good. He's good. He's great in everything that I've seen him in. He was fantastic in Stranger Things.
I don't
And
think
he's
I'm going to be
pretty
seeing
good
that
in
new
this.
Gladiator. But let me tell you, I feel like when that first Gladiator came out, there wasn't many movies in that year that I liked more than that. I was
I'm gonna
let's see
wait for the
Gladiator.
reviews. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna end up seeing that one way or the other. Robin's stoked
Really?
for it.
You saw the trailer?
Yeah. The weird thing about the trailer for Gladiator 2 is that it's set to like modern like rap music, which is like
What?
it's like a strange mix. Like it's
that
obviously kind of
trailer-
Yeah, a
like
little bit of a Knight's Tale going on here. Wait, did
Uh,
Knight's Tale actually have the modern music in the movie? or is
Yes,
that just
it
they
did.
had We Will Rock
It
You.
100% did.
and I
And
don't
they had other
so
ones
it's not
too,
a
but
Knight's
yeah.
Tale situation.
No, I
don't
think that was
think-
just the trailer.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think this is specifically just a trying to appeal to modern audiences and whatever. I think it's a marketing thing in this case. I don't think that's going to be like the tone.
Modern
and the music
audiences
used.
do not like pop music in their trailers. Let me
No,
tell
they
you.
I mean, here's the thing. I think the I hate to say it like this. I feel like the lowest common denominator does.
Wow, you're saying stupid people.
No, I'm just saying you can
Wow.
It's probably just young people. It's more specifically probably a lot of young people. And if you really want to get the young
And
audience,
now you're saying young people are stupid. I feel like you
Well,
keep
that
digging
is-
this whole
I mean,
deeper.
let's be real. No,
I just looked up your Letterboxd profile, Nick, and I do not see Gladiator on the list.
do you think I've reviewed every movie I've ever watched on Letterboxd? Are you insane? I've only had
No,
that
but
account
I
for like a year and a
expected.
half.
I mean, like, look, you've
I
got.
can't even think the last time I've seen Gladiator.
Dude, I think I saw Gladiator in theaters, and maybe that was
the only time.
was the last time I saw it.
Really?
What?
Wow.
It's not a movie I've seen many times. I do know that I like it, and I should probably rewatch it. Hey, you know
I don't
what's
think
cool?
it's gonna hold up to a rewatch. I haven't seen it in a very long time, so I don't know. Maybe I don't
a
want
lot
to
of-
fuck with it.
A lot of people seem to think that it does hold up, but I don't know.
It won an Academy Award, and that was probably not. Did it win Best Picture?
It did.
Mhm.
It won
Okay, so
Best
that
Picture.
might have been a bit much, and I think that's maybe what started the backlash. I think Gladiator was a good time.
Well,
I
I
mean,
don't
what was
know
it
if
up against?
I mean, probably
That's a good question.
better movies than Gladiator, right? I
don't
do
know.
want the answer to this. I
do
think
feel
this
like
is good
you're-
It was the
content.
year
This is good
2000.
podcast.
I do
Year
feel like you're maybe
2000.
talking out of your ass a little bit, because like, what if it was
It
actually
was
pretty
the
good? You just haven't
year
watched it in a while.
2000. I mean, I've seen it a lot. I've seen it a
Oh.
lot. And I don't think it was like, cinema necessarily. I mean, okay.
So
Ridley
Gladiator was
Scott,
up
he's a-
against for Best Picture Chocolat, Crouching Tiger, Hidden
Okay.
Dragon, Aaron Brockovich,
Okay.
and Traffic.
Well, Traffic and Crouching Tiger are probably better films than Gladiator. Now, it's been a long time since I've seen, and even Aaron Brockovich is a fun time. How did Aaron Brockovich get nominated for Best
Yeah,
Picture?
Aaron. I don't see Aaron Brockovich winning that. Crouching Tiger.
Not a
for
strong
sure.
year? Okay.
I think the problem, Brad, is Crouching Tiger. That was like it was a foreign
Yeah,
film. Nothing
foreign
against-
films were not
they-
winning Best Picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back then they definitely were
Yeah.
not. No matter how good they were.
Do I need to
Chocolat,
watch Traffic?
whatever.
Traffic's good. Yeah.
It's all right.
They're all like 25 years old. So maybe
Yeah.
it's hard to go back to any of these movies. Who the fuck knows?
There was also
Uh.
there were films like Castaway that was that year. The
Yeah, I mean,
Contender.
I'm sure the actual Best Pictures weren't even nominated. So, but what are you gonna do? Hey,
that's like
Oh,
speaking
Brother,
of
Where
which,
Art Thou?
oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
That is.
And that wasn't
Um,
nominated?
No.
Well, this was before Coen Brothers got the respect they deserve, really. Hey, let me tell you, there's another movie I watched that I want to bring up real quick before we get into games because
Mhm,
it was
mhm,
a funny situation. So we did, a movie night on Friday, which is where we just let the kids stay up a little bit later. We all watch a movie, we get popcorn, candy, movie night, quote unquote movie night. But the key part of movie night with the family is that you pick a family friendly movie, and we picked this new. It's not Studio Ghibli, but there's another studio that's like some of the people who used to work at Studio Ghibli started their own studio. So it looked a lot like a Studio Ghibli movie. I mean, if you
Okay.
saw a trailer, you would just think it was Ghibli, right? But it wasn't. It's called The Imaginary. And, got good reviews. The trailer seemed entertaining.
Mhm.
we did show Henry the trailer, and he was a little okay, yeah. Then we watched the movie, and let me tell you, my son, well, Griffin was around, but he was just barely paying attention, right? Because he's 2, and that's just what 2-year-olds do. But Henry was very much paying attention, invested. He there is
New
a
favorite
fucking
movie?
ring ghost in that movie. There is just a straight up ring ghost
Oh,
and worse.
wow.
There is a ring ghost and worse. My God. And there was a point in the movie where he just burst into tears and saying, "Oh my God, I'm so scared." And he burst into tears. And pretty much most of the rest of the movie, his face was in a pillow on the couch. And he was just saying, "I'm so scared." He wanted to know what's going on, but he couldn't turn around. And the crazy part is, the shit he didn't see was so much worse than the shit he did see. When his face was buried into a pillow, Malia and I were just looking at each other and we were going like, "Holy shit. Don't turn around, Henry." I mean, but we don't want to say that because we didn't want to scare him more. We're
I
like,
suddenly
oh,
really want to watch this movie.
now, granted, it's not a horror movie. It's not
I
a horror
know.
movie, but like it's like
For
the
a
villain
child.
in this movie, who's not even the ring ghost, is like, it's fucking horrifying. It's the kind of shit that scars a child and they get nightmares for years until they finally
What's the
watch it
movie
again.
called?
And
The
it's
Imaginary.
called The Imaginary, and it is just, it was a good time. It's a nice, like, not Studio Ghibli family movie that just so happens to be
Terrifying.
maybe don't show a kid under the age of 8, probably, because it's just a lot. It's horrifying. It's I mean, not to like us, but like, you can imagine, like, the fucking villain of the movie eats like imaginary characters, and he opens his whole fucking head opens
Jesus.
up, and he like sucks them up, and it's like Lovecraftian. It's fucking horrifying. Not
There's
to mention there's a
imagery.
ring ghost.
Dude, there's imagery in Spirited Away that creeps me out to this day. Like,
Oh,
you know,
sure, but this is, I'd much rather have him watch Spirited Away. This is a legitimately horrifying villain.
we're gonna watch this movie. I'm
Okay,
excited.
yeah,
Can I list off a couple things that I've watched recently that I think
ahead.
are noteworthy,
Yes.
interesting?
The answer is no.
So perhaps I'll start with this because I for the first time ever, I went to a buddy's house and we watched the original, well, not the 1984 Dune. I had never seen before.
No,
The David Lynch Dune.
that's a fun watch party, I suppose.
It was fun. I mean, it was fun to watch, but holy shit, that movie. Whoo, that movie almost feels like a film student's school project in a lot of ways. It is crazy. I could not get it. Like, even really early on, like the scene where Paul is like dueling with Gurney in the beginning, and you get like they have the suits or the shields, whatever. The way they decided to like depict that in this movie is the most.
They depicted it like that because that was the technology available to them at the time.
I know. I just feel like there may have been a simpler solution. Like, it's just so. Like,
even at the time, it wasn't well like a well-loved depiction of doom.
No. I mean, it's and also, like, we watched it for the first like hour and 15 minutes, and I turned to Joel and I was like, "So this covers the entirety of the first book? How in the world? There's only like 50 minutes left in this, and we've barely even gotten past what would be the first hour of the first film in like the modern films." And I'm just like, what is going on? It's crazy. It's a crazy thing. But I watched it, and I'm glad I finally did that. Also, I watched When Evil Lurks. Anybody else seen that?
Yeah. I've seen that.
That movie is that movie is very disturbing, and it pulls zero punches. But
speaks to your soul, huh?
It speaks to my soul. Like, Robin and I watched it, and we were enthralled. just totally out of left field, unexpected. But I will there's some trigger warnings I feel like you have to give people before you like recommend it. just in terms
After
of
the
like,
fact, I heard Carlos call it Argentinian Evil Dead, and I'm like, it is very Evil Dead,
it
but
is.
like Evil Dead, like not goofy Evil Dead, like
No.
the original Evil Dead,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
actually maybe more the remake or whatever.
And I would just say public service announcement. It's like one of those things where it's like I fully endorse. Like I recommend watching. If you like horror movies, go for it. But there are two scenes in particular in this movie that are like just shockingly gruesome. And if you're a parent, especially of young children, maybe be careful because children find themselves in at the
As
like
someone
center
with
of some of
children,
these.
let me tell you, yes,
Yeah.
that stuff was hard to watch. My God.
But holy shit, what a film!
So,
So yeah, that's what I wanted to.
did you
bring up.
hear that?
Also,
So in Rio de Janeiro, Warner Brothers has a exposition facility for their old props from a bunch of their movies and TV shows. And one of those, so there was a huge fire there this morning, and it destroyed
Oh.
most of the building, including a lot of the classic props. And
but yes, there's one thing left, and it's
well,
creepy.
the one thing people are
Ooh.
talking about is the original Annabelle doll.
oh no,
They've got pictures of that.
Ooh.
It's like it's being quoted
it all
as
burned up?
caramelized from the flame.
Wow.
Hmm.
I wonder if they. I mean, does it still look like it? Because they're making one more Conjuring film. Maybe they could. Maybe this is actually just going to make it look more.
I mean, this could also be
I'm
just
sure
like
there's-
fucking
I'm
viral
I'm sure they have
marketing,
plenty of
essentially.
Annabelle prop dolls.
Yeah,
They probably do.
they had a
Probably
lot of
got one
stuff
out
there.
in LA.
Evidently,
I don't
like
think they need to get.
they had like a set of the ruby slippers from the Wizard of Oz. They had like wands from Harry Potter. They had one of the old Batmobiles from the Adam West TV show.
And they're all gone now. All these things are gone.
Sauron's
pretty
helmet
much.
and ring from the Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, that thing can't
Damn.
be destroyed by a fire.
Yeah. The ring is fine, Chris Davis.
I guess it's true. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if like that was the one thing they find and like amongst the ashes is just the ring? It's like, oh my god. Anyway, I also watched The Bike Riders, which was pretty good.
What is that? I don't know what that
The
is.
one with Austin Butler and Tom Hardy.
Still don't know.
It's like a 1970s, 60s, talking about like kind of the birth of like motorcycle gangs and whatnot, or like motorcycle clubs. It almost feels like Sons of Anarchy, like the birth, like kind of, but like in the 60s. And I thought it was pretty good. I think it's kind of actually about
You are
the birth of the
biker
Hells
gang
Angels.
killed Mr. Days Gone, so
I am, but
maybe
it was
we
pretty
can't
good. It was pretty good. Austin Butler's a pretty good actor, guys. I don't know if y'all know that. He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I was thinking of when you said that. I was thinking Gerard Butler, and I was like, "Oh, he's still getting
No.
gigs."
No,
Oh.
no. We're talking about Austin Butler. He's the new Butler.
I've
who
not
is
seen an Austin
this year
Butler
alone
flick
has been
yet, I
in.
don't think.
He was Elvis in the new Elvis movie. He's also
Did not watch.
in the new Dune. He's
Did not watch.
you didn't watch the new Dune? What the fuck? It's pretty good. It's
I
pretty
didn't
good.
watch
Austin Butler
Dune 2,
character.
no.
I'll have to look into that, I suppose.
He's kind of he's like one of those actors who suddenly like gains popularity really quickly and starts appearing in like everything. But he's pretty good.
Okay.
Anyways, we are actually here to talk about video games, but I am also, as the host, just kind
Are
of
we?
like, I'm just kind of like letting it ride.
Brett,
So like wherever the
you-
conversation takes us.
He was in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I was saying Mexico. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I
I
was
was like, man, he's
Those are
old.
two very
I know.
different movies.
Yeah.
and also
They are.
in
I did see Once Upon a Time in
Four.
Hollywood. I did see that.
He was the guy who worked at the ranch, like Tex.
okay.
Oh
yeah.
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 okay.
I forgot about that.
Who gets introduced
Okay.
to
Yeah.
what's
No, I'm
Brad Pitt's
familiar with
dog?
Tex.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good
Okay.
movie. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
Anyways, video games. Woo! Here we are. We've made it to the video game segment of this video game podcast.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I don't know where we're going from here. I don't got much.
Unfortunately, we're all out of time. So next week.
It is yeah.
Nobody wants to hear me talk about Fallout 4, which is what I've spent the vast
That
amount of
is
my time talking.
Actually true. Nick. That is
Ironically,
actually
I saw a decent amount of Fallout 4 this weekend.
That is
What?
'Cause
weird.
Bernadette's cousin was playing it when we were at their house.
I guess that's a little
and
more
so-
interesting than
Well-
Nick playing it.
Oh, fuck off.
You played it before.
Well,
No, I haven't. I haven't played it before. Well,
Well, whatever. It's old. Damn
I
it.
have played it. I played it like 15 hours and then put it down. Now I've played 60 hours. So
It was,
wow.
I think, it was in the top 10 MPDs, I think, again this month.
that's
Really?
That's weird. Well, I guess
It's
it's,
not
good.
random,
No,
it's
it's
not
not
weird.
weird. 'Cause I forgot about
Yeah.
the show.
It's
Obviously,
the
made
show.
that super popular.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you gonna download Fallout London?
No,
Really?
dude.
What is
by the time
Fallout
I fi-
London?
By the time I finish Fallout 4, I am going to be probably all Fallouted out
Okay.
until season 2 of the show hits. Probably.
Fallout London is a full-fledged conversion mod for Fallout 4 that has been given the unofficial christening from Bethesda. It's getting an
Christening.
official launch on
Approval?
GOG in like just a few days.
What?
And what does
Yeah.
it turn the
That's
game
crazy.
into London? It turns Boston into London?
No, I mean it's a completely new map. It's set in London.
Damn.
Weird. Okay. So
Yeah.
does it have its own like story and shit, or does it?
It's a 30 to 40 hour story with its own voice actors, like quality voice actors assigned
That
to
is-
it. Like
Bonkers. That okay. I take what I said back. I'm not planning on downloading it, but I will keep an eye out for it. And if it's one of those things where people are saying this is really good, I'll go for it. But,
I know one of the voice actors is the guy who played Asterion in Baldur's Gate 3.
oh, well, sign me up. I'm in.
There's no names to it, but it's like, yeah, it is a full-fledged, basically a game that just runs on top of Fallout 4.
Right.
Did y'all see what was, maybe, I guess y'all didn't. Maybe you did. Maybe Chris Davis did. Did y'all see what was number 1 on the MPDs last month?
Mm-mm.
Was
Mm-mm.
what game? Ghost of Tsushima was number 1.
What?
Oh, because of the PC launch, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which is
but-
crazy. To push that to number 1, though?
Well, I think there's,
Yeah.
you're talking about a game that was only available on a console, and now it's just a whole. It's like it's
No,
opening a floodgates.
you're right.
It's-
There's a lot
But
more.
still, I don't
people
think
on
we've ever
PC
seen
than
something like that
PS4.
climb so high that it hits number 1, which
Is
is wild.
it possible that because NPD doesn't or Circana doesn't track DLC that Shadow of the Earth Tree cut into those numbers?
Oh, wait, what?
I'm just
Say
saying,
that
like,
again?
Shadow Archery came out this month.
no, it
Yeah,
came
we're
out
talking about last month.
June 23rd.
Oh my god,
Last
he's right. We're in July now. I keep
Yeah.
forgetting.
Oh, well, Elden Ring was on the list.
I know
By the
that.
way-
I don't know what you're asking me, I guess.
Well, no, I'm just saying that like DLC.
Oh no,
like,
I don't think they do count DLC, no.
Yeah, I that's probably why the numbers are so low. Like a lot of people just kind of decide to play Erd Tree.
By the
Numbers are
way,
low.
Yeah.
he's saying the overall NPD numbers are low because so many people were buying into Elden Ring to play Erd Tree,
Oh.
but they don't count that towards the MP. So everything else is looking like it's more impressive because Elden Ring is depressing the overall.
Well, yeah, the
number.
whole industry is down, but I mean, I'm just saying that's pretty impressive that that
One way
old
that-
ass PlayStation game that got released on PC managed to get number
Are we
1.
calling it old ass? Like that's what they. It kinda,
Well,
it
you
got
know,
on
it's
PS it got a
it's
port on
unusual.
PS5.
It's you know, the
it's
previous
still
month
one-
it was 71.
And it's still one of the best looking games.
Paper Mario was number
Ever
2.
made.
1,000 Year Door, that's also an old game, old ass game. God, what are we doing in this industry? What the fuck?
I don't know. Just
We're
real
banking
quick,
on
Elden-
properties that have sold well in the past. That's what
I don't
we're
know.
doing.
This is fortuitous. So my wife,
Oh no,
big
this
Elden
is
Ring,
actually May.
Your wife.
This is May that I'm looking at.
big Elden
I-
Ring fan.
Yeah.
My wife, she finished Erd Tree, by the way.
You want to just talk about Erd Tree?
We'll talk
How
about
many,
it in a
how many
second.
times did she die on the final boss?
It took her a while.
Oh god.
It took her a while, but she like just a couple days ago, she was like, you know what I really wish I had? I really wish there was just an Elden Ring lore Bible. And I was like, wow, okay. And I was like, her birthday's coming up. I'll see if I can find something like that.
And lo and behold,
there's just a bunch of different like. They call them like lore books, but they're really like just fancy guides, right? They're more or less guides with like a lot of like art and stuff in them or whatever. But today it was announced, and I don't know the name of the I don't remember the name of the company off the top of my head. Forgive me, but like
It's like
they're
Lost
connected-
Grace or something like that.
I don't know if
Grace
that's the one.
is in the name. I know that.
They're connected with VatiVidya, or they've done stuff for VatiVidya, whatever. But they announced an official an Elden Ring lore Bible coming in 2025. There is like 3 different versions of it. The cheapest one is like $270. There's a $700 version and then $1,000 version.
Fuck?
No, it's
$1,000 version. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Grace Given: The Mythology of Elden Ring.
Okay.
That's the
Rein
one.
it
That'd
back
be
in,
called
y'all.
over
Rein
500
it back
pages.
in.
Robin,
I don't care how many pages it is. That's still more than $1 a page. What the fuck?
I ain't getting
Don't
that
worry,
shit until it pops up at half price books.
don't worry. Robin didn't buy
500.
either of the expensive ones, but she did drop $200
That's
and
like-
over $200 immediately.
That lore Bible should be a fucking set of encyclopedias for that amount of money. What the
Yeah, yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Did y'all?
I just thought it was
Are y'all old enough? We're all. I mean, y'all make old jokes because I'm the oldest, but y'all aren't so
We
much
do,
younger
yes.
than me, right? Y'all grew up with sets of encyclopedias in your house.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a set of
That's
encyclopedias.
crazy. That's crazy. That's
crazy.
so stupid, right? Like, but
how else did you do research, Brad? If you needed to
I'm
look
trying
something
to
up,
think.
how did you find out the
No,
information?
they were trash. Ours were never like up to date. No one had up to date encyclopedias. They were always too old.
I
that's crazy.
remember my parents buying the Encarta 1996 encyclopedia on a CD-ROM, so we can.
That's what I remember.
Sure, but
That's what I remember.
we're talking about the old days.
Oh yeah, no, we
Encarta-
had some books for a while.
Damn, I haven't heard the word Encarta in a long time, and now I'm feeling super nostalgic.
Gosh, are they
Encarta
still
95.
I gotta find
But
out.
like, it's so weird though, right? Do you think parents like of that
discontinued.
era just felt like that's something you're just supposed to like part of the American dream, is to have a whole set of I mean, that's knowledge, right? I mean, that's just that's wild. It's so dumb.
It is wild. It is.
It
wild.
feels like I feel like if I was a parent at that time, I'd be like, "This is a scam. This is bullshit." And I bet it kind of was. I bet it was like a subscription thing. They're trying to get you to buy new ones, and went wild.
Yep.
They just end up in landfills.
Yeah. Somewhere out there, there's a landfill just full
Microsoft
of
Encarta was
encyclopedias.
discontinued in 2009.
Damn, I'm surprised it lasted that long.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, since we just briefly mentioned Erd Tree, I know Chris Davis finished it, and I've been playing a lot of it. So let's get that out of the way. Let's talk about it. I talked about it a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if I necessarily have a ton to add to that conversation. It is,
I believe,
more Elden Ring after all.
Yes,
it is
more Elden Ring, which is very disrespectful, to be honest.
Well, no.
Elden Ring's
but
one of the finest games ever made.
You're right. I am constantly in awe of this expansion, and just kind of like, okay. I remember reading before the DLC came out. I heard a lot of people who were kind of like not negative, but leaning towards the less positive side, were saying, "I'm surprised by how linear this DLC is," and I was like, "What? Linear?" And they were just like, how it's always pointing you towards because you're following in the footsteps of Miquella. That's the whole thing, right?
I hear it's structured more like a regular non-open world Souls game.
No, not at all, dude. This is super fucking open. I don't know what people are smoking.
I would say it's a little bit more like hub and spoke in its open world design. Like,
what are you really? What?
Like you get
this
to
game
like
feels.
No, you get to
like
once
Dark
you get
Souls
past
2,
like the grave plane and you get to where you're at right now, Nick. Like I think that's where the spokes really start to become visible.
But like, I don't even think that's the case. Like, I have gone down so many rabbit holes in this expansion.
I keep
you
finding
do that
places.
in Dark Souls.
Well, no, but like, you don't understand. Like, there's nothing about the way this world is designed that has made me think about Dark Souls once. Like, this screams Elden Ring to me. Like, it just seems like another enormous map that is like, it's one of those things. Like, I'm still trying. Like, one of the weirdest things. Like, you have to find if you remember how like the chunks of the map were unlocked in Elden Ring. You have to find those like little tomes that are kind of on the side of the road that will give you pieces of the map.
Oh, yeah,
and like those, some of those are so hard to find. There's like one I have one piece of the map left that I haven't found, and just getting to it is a fucking puzzle. Like
I know exactly the one you're thinking of, and it is definitely not where you think it is.
Well, I know because Robin had to come in and be like, "Look, you're tearing your hair out. I'm going to show you how to get to it." And she told me how to get to it. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yes.
Like this game is just diabolical. It's just the way it's designed is diabolical, and I think it's amazing for that. I'm
The
just
Dark
like,
Souls. I mean, the Soulsian knowledge, the Elden Ring. There's like a interesting power dynamic here. I feel like you're get good. You're it's like you're married to the toxic souls community that's not actually toxic.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the friendly
I mean,
part of the toxic souls community.
I think it's fantastic because like when I get frustrated, she's either one my cheerleader or she's over here being like, "Do you want me to help you out a little bit?" And I'm like, "Yes, God, help, please." And she does. It's great.
That's crazy. I can't even get Malia to watch a Souls game because she doesn't accept failure. She's like, I don't want to watch you lose to this thing over and over and over again, which I understand. I get
Meanwhile, there's one of the first things you see when you enter the world in this DLC are these giant like walking furnaces.
Yes.
And there's like, I don't know, there's a bunch of them in the world or whatever. She spent 3 hours fighting one the other day. And then she beat it, and I went in and I was like, I'm gonna try this, right? And I walked into it, and I did like try to attack it, did a little bit of damage or whatever, and I'm like, I'm looking at how much damage I'm doing per hit, and I'm like, there's no chance, no chance. I'm gonna be able to.
Do y'all talk about how many tries it took to beat a boss over dinner? Like, oh, honey,
Did we talk about?
I did that in 2 tries. It took you 3 hours.
No, that's not the dynamic we have here. Like.
No.
That is definitely
so.
She is not like get good over here. She just wants to talk about. She listens to Vati videos while she eats lunch and shit. It's like, you know, she just wants to talk about Elden Ring, which is
to
great.
give you a frame of reference, Nick. I started this DLC because again I did New Game Plus for this.
I did too. Yeah.
I started at level like 240. It
240.
Yeah. On average, it takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to kill one of those furnace guys.
Were you on New Game Plus or New Game Plus Plus?
New Game Plus 1.
So
you just
I have
maxed
beaten
out
the
another
game,
save,
and I've
basically.
Yeah, I have not beaten the game twice. I have not rolled.
Jesus Christ!
Twice.
I played that first game 120 hours, and I was in my New Game Plus. I'm at like level 170.
Isn't the whole thing with this DLC is that your level doesn't really matter? You have to get these fucking
scattered tree. Yeah, pieces of the scattered tree. Yeah, you find them all over the map. You collect them in groups, and you use them to give yourself a base upgrade that is specific only to this DLC. So you go back to the main world of Elden Ring, and it doesn't
like that. That's how you level up, because I feel like the level you were going into it matters less. Right?
You do need to level up. It just closes the gap between whatever. It's basically just to make it
because it's
even it out.
Yeah,
because some people might be going into this at level like 240, and some people might be going into it at level 80. You know what I mean? So like, it just closes the gap. And actually, when you
it closes the gap because the level ups are so significant. Is that kind of what it is? Like, you know, like maybe at 240 and you're at 180. Maybe that he's only like actually like 10% stronger than you. But like
at this point, you're asking me to like understand the inner workings and like the gears that
work
in the background, and I don't.
I've heard a lot about these things, but apparently it's like that's how you get stronger.
I mean, you do get stronger by leveling up. You do get stronger by leveling up, but the like if you're level 100 or whatever, and you're struggling with an enemy, and you don't level up, but you start leveling up using the fragments, even without going up in actual level, you will start to have an easier time with the same enemies that you're fighting.
I guess it's the nature of scaling. Once you're that high of a level, a single level means very little, because points the way the points work are very like front loaded.
So Harry Yeti says the max level is 20 on the Shadow Blessings. From 1 to 10, it increases your damage output and negation by 5% each level up.
Yeah,
which is significant.
It is
once
significant.
You're already like hitting the sort of growth caps on your things.
Right.
But also,
I think it's fascinating as far as just a kind of a design choice to like how do you address that problem going, because just the wide range of levels that people are going to be going into this at. I think it's a really fascinating way of doing it.
But you just find them; they're just around.
They're hidden in places, and a lot of times they're kind of like go into like legacy dungeons and stuff. They'll be like when you beat a boss there, you'll get one of those.
Or
So
you'll
the
find 'em
actual
under
legacy
boss out there
dungeons,
somewhere.
like
Yeah.
it's good. Is that stuff as good as it is in the main game? Like,
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Like there are a lot of castles in this content, and some of them, yeah, you do feel like you're at a new version of Stormvale or a new version of the capital. Like
lots of castles, a lot of caves, a lot of catacombs, a lot of
no,
mountains,
you're
lots of dude.
Let's
I'm
go back to
fucking fighting
castles.
lots of dragons.
If they announced, if From Software announced that they're making a Castlevania game, I would cry. I would cry a lot, man, tears.
So
I want
here's
that
what I'll say,
so,
Brad.
so badly.
The
So
later part of
badly.
one castle that you don't get to until towards the end of the game, like from a distance, visually, it looks like Dracula's
I know,
castle.
I know.
in some
I've seen these images, and,
Yeah.
and again, but it's not Castlevania. I want them
No,
to
it's not.
make a Castlevania game. I want
Yeah.
the From Software a remix of Bloody Tears. You know, I want the real deal.
Yeah,
I want the
definitely.
real deal. Oh my god, it would be so good.
I will
Or a
say,
Soul Reaver game. Let them do Soul Reaver.
I will say one of the most interesting things that I've noted in my time with this, and I just to be clear, I have beaten Erdtree, so I have gotten through it, is that they do some considerable experimentation with AI versus AI fights. There are certain areas that you go to that you will just stumble upon NPCs fighting one another. And
I've
it's-
actually
there's
I haven't seen that, and I've been playing for a long. Oh, you're talking about like enemies, different kinds of enemies fighting each other.
yeah, just
yeah. Okay.
standard AI.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bit of that in Elden Ring. I feel like
There
right?
is,
more
but
of it
there's
here.
more of it in this. And I feel like that's also one of the flaws of the launch of this game that's probably going to be addressed in a patch. In that, so ashes, whatever you think of them, they're a thing you can use in the game. And if you encounter, and I've found this multiple times, if you
Mimic
encounter
tier, bro.
a scenario where there are two factions fighting one another, your AI does not know how to address this, so they choose not to attack.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
It is weird. They get,
Only
like,
when
cross
they get
wires.
attacked do they actually engage in combat.
Yeah. Also, if you, I mean, I'm sure most people, if you have a mimic tier, which I think most people probably do, like that will carry you through a lot. Not carry you, but like that'll make a lot of boss fights. That'll like cut the difficulty of a lot of boss fights like practically in half.
It
Not
can
all of them,
for
but
certain
a lot of
bosses.
them. That's what I'm saying. Not all of them, but a lot of them it definitely can.
I mean,
There
that's same with like Elden Ring, right? I mean,
Yeah.
There,
Which,
there
again,
are some
like I'm
absolute
saying-
assholes in this.
Like
in
I
this
said,
content.
this really is. I mean, it's more Elden Ring, but it's still just as brilliant and like beautiful, like stupid beautiful. And I don't know, it's constantly impressed by how much is actually in this game. Like, you can play this DLC probably for almost as long as the base game.
That's
and
probably not true.
No,
maybe
it's not
half,
true.
maybe half, but like
maybe if you like
it's-
mainlined like just the core quest lines, maybe.
I was
but-
170 hours in a single playthrough of Elden Ring.
Well, I'm pushing at this point. I'm probably pushing like 50 hours or more in this expansion, and I'm not done yet. I'm not even like at the end game, quote unquote. So I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff.
Let me tell you though, Nick, it's probably not as long as I spent on Yakuza Infinite Wealth.
Okay, there. You're still playing that, huh? I thought
No,
you finished that like a long time ago.
No, you're probably thinking Chris Davis. Chris Davis is the one playing all the Brad games and finishing them, which, by the way, super frustrating. You know, super frustrating. Because it's like, that's like me if I had
I find this very frustrating.
more game time. Damn it.
I knew
No,
10 years ago when you had time.
No, well, 50, yeah.
He might have you there.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's fine that I'm glad some people have a lot of game time. That's fine, but the fact that he's beating you,
He's using
so,
that
like,
time to play your games.
Yakuza. I mean, it's that he beat Yakuza. He beat. I also beat Rebirth finally, I'm a lot very far into Or I picked up Unicorn Overlord, which again, Chris Davis wants to call that a Chris Davis game. I definitely consider that a Brad game, it being an Ogre
We
Battle
can have
Line.
dual custody. It's
But
okay.
again, it's the fact that this motherfucker already finished it, and I'm like, damn him, you know?
I do love that
Because-
we've kind of classified certain games based on us as individuals. I was like, do we all have that? I was like, yeah, I think so. I think we definitely refer to some games as Nolan games.
It is a spiritual successor to a Yasumi Matsuno game. He likes the one with the schoolgirls that the developer made and thinks that all of a sudden all the Vanillaware games are his.
Bitch.
Sorry. But again, so I finished. So here's the thing about Rebirth. I finished Rebirth, and I
We
don't.
could probably skip the Elden Ring footage at this
I
point.
don't know. Oh yeah. Or fuck it, let it roll. Who gives a shit? Hey, so Rebirth. That's a video game. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but at some point I'm like, let's just see what it feels like to like ignore all this side bullshit.
You mainline that shit.
And honestly, for a while, it felt really nice because it's like, look, I'm here for this story, not so much some of the stories out there. Even though I think that stuff is fine, honestly, most of it I actually kind of like. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about acing all the mini games or whatever. There's a lot of mini games in that game.
There's too many mini games.
Doing them to like get like the best ranks to get all the items has to be an absolute fucking nightmare. I love that they're there. I don't want to master any of them, but like anyways, I was mainlining it for a long time and I was making like a lot of progress quickly and I was having a good time because it goes places. It's pretty wild. But at some point I was like, oh, but Chadley has all this materia that's unique and cool, and I want that. And these summons,
Chadley.
I want I want these summons, and because they're cool, they look cool at least. I actually think the way the summons are implemented in the game mechanically is kind of lame, but they look cool. And nostalgia, right? So I was like, I guess I went back to doing the open world stuff, but it was sort of laser focused. Like it was very goal oriented and less, I'm going to 100% these maps. And it's fine that way. Like it actually felt pretty good. Just kind of getting out into the open world and just doing like, oh, I'm going to do this, some of the less annoying stuff to get enough points to get this material from Chadley. And it felt nice. And you eventually get to an area, I think it's the Nibelheim area, where like the chocobo ability isn't actually tragically slow and terrible.
Yes.
You get this one that shoots water out his ass and lets you like fly up into the air and is very freeing and liberating. And I was like, why couldn't all the chocobos be like this? God damn it. And what I actually realized is it's a bit of a missed opportunity. I really hate how in Rebirth all the chocobos are tied only to those areas, and they have unique traversal mechanics only in those areas. It would have been so nice to have it be like the original game where you got better and better chocobos and that lets you explore the area more like almost Metroidvania-y, right? Where now I can go back and climb over the mountain in this first area. It would have been so nice if it was, I could take a later game chocobo back into an original area to find stuff I couldn't get to before. Would have been so much better and less strange. But anyways, in terms of the story, there's a lot to say. I was speaking to David a little bit, and because I think this goes for you too, Nolan. Sorry, you're blinking. I feel like anybody who grew up with Final Fantasy, old Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 7, played it back in the day, man, they got to play this thing. It's the game, man. It's Final Fantasy 7, and it's weird and awkward and strange, and especially some of the choices that they're doing for like the new story. But I feel like if you're a Final Fantasy 7 fan, you have to see this thing because it's so wild. Good ways and bad ways, but some of the good ways are so fucking good. So much so that I was like,
there's just some wondrous things about these remakes going on.
So much so that and I was texting David a little bit. I was like, even him, I was like, you got to play this game. I feel like you can't care about Final Fantasy 7 or those characters or anything and not play this game. So I told him that if he finishes it, he can be on the spoiler cast, but then we're probably not going to do a spoiler cast, because we always talk about it and we never actually do it. But if he actually gets through that game, I'll commit to doing a spoiler cast.
I'll do it.
Wait, when you say he, you're talking about me or you're talking about David?
No, you're definitely going to get through it. David's the one who like, I have a hard time believing that he would necessarily get through it without some sort of like challenge aspect to it. Does that make sense? The whole reason I brought up that idea is because he would do it if he knows that the end goal is to do like a spoiler cast. So he's playing through it now, and I think he's having a rough time. But
That's one of one of the games. Like once I kind of get through Erdtree and I want to
where are
do
you?
some cleanup.
By the way,
The last thing I remember doing, I think I was on the remind me is the I was on I think I was on the ship. No, I got to Costa del Sol. I went past Costa del Sol. When you're on the ship, that's before.
Did you
Costa
get to
del
the
Sol,
Golden
right?
Saucer yet?
Yes.
Oh, so you
That's
did
after
Golden
the ship.
Saucer too?
Yes.
Cosmo Canyon?
I have not gotten to Cosmo Canyon yet.
Have you gotten
So
to the?
Gungaga?
Do you remember the jungle?
I'm in the jungle. I'm
Okay.
in Gungaga.
Okay.
There's still a
That's
lot
right.
left, depending on how much stuff you're going to do. That's
Probably a fair amount.
Yeah.
A fair amount.
I'm
Anyways,
not saying
yeah,
that's the halfway point, but in my head, it kind of feels like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. Like, I was really enjoying my time with it. It's
It
just one of
depends
those
on
things
how
I gotta
much you're
go
doing
back to
in
it.
the open world.
Yeah.
The Cosmo Canyon open world is kind of miserable, so I definitely was like, I don't want to do too much of this. This Chocobo sucks ass. Anyways, I also finished Yakuza finally. Now that's a game that I was like, I could just finish, but I like doing the stuff in that world so much more, and I get addicted to it. And like those fucking dungeons and stuff. Like it's not like brilliant design, but there's so many like systems tied to it. It's like, oh, I want more money, and I want this equipment, and I want this upgrade materials. I get so hooked on it, and oh my god, I don't know how much of that game. I know you finished it, Chris Davis, but I don't know how hard you go in on a Yakuza game. But I was in like the final boss of like the final EX dungeon, and it was so hard. I was fighting this boss for what feels like hours, and I got to the point, and it was like 4 dudes. I don't want to spoil anything. It's 4 dudes, and I got 3 of them down, and I got the last one like halfway down, and he revived the other 3 back to up a quarter health. And let me tell you, a quarter health is a lot for this fight specifically. It's probably the hardest fight in the game.
Yeah.
And it broke my soul. Hours I was trying this fight. I couldn't do it. I could have done it if I grinded a bunch more, but at that point I really did want to get to the end of the story. But that is a great fucking video game and a great follow-up to Like a Dragon, Yakuza 7, the first RPG one. I will say, I think the main story in this is kind of lame. As for a Yakuza story, like the cult stuff is so like, what are they doing? Like a lot of it is really kind of whack, honestly. That's like the one flaw I would say on a game that like kind of gave me all the improvements I wanted from that last game and so much more. It gave me Cowboy Kiryu. But yeah, the main plot of this game, I mean, it has its moments, of course, but man, I don't care about Lonnie. Shut the fuck up. Stop it. And you know what I'm talking about, Chris Davis. I mean, I think it ends well. You know, there's good moments towards the end.
I was tearing up at the final scene.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, of course. And it, it didn't do everything I wanted them to do in the end, but whatever. I'm excited. I can't wait to see where they go next. But yeah, I've been just kind of in general doing a lot of catch up and stuff, and maybe I'll mention some demos later, but I'll let somebody else talk.
I did every side story in there. I did everything except for the big swell.
The big what?
The big swell.
Big swell. Ooh,
The big swell
sounds hot.
It's a post-launch like massive dungeon. Big swell, big shell.
post game dungeon.
Yes.
You after credits. Yeah, I didn't do any post game stuff.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, I mean, I 100%, basically otherwise 100%ed it. I love that story. It's really fun.
Dude. You show me your Chivo tracker. What do they call it? His the Awakenings. There's no fucking way you 100% in that.
Well, tell you what, I will paste it in chat right now because I was actually looking it up.
You dirty bitch.
No, not achievements. Not Chivos. No, whatever. Okay, never mind. I'm talking about when you pull up the
there's
Kiryu
in-game
Awakening
content
stuff.
like do X number of things, interact with X number of that's in-game stuff that it's not necessarily tied to achievements.
Yeah.
No, that's one where you're like buying every single weapon in the game and like you're mastering every single mini game. That shit is like I've never. to see a person truly 100% Yakuza game is like it's a lifestyle game at that point.
Let me
You're playing it
rephrase. I
all year.
100%ed the story content and side stories.
Oh, okay. Okay,
We're
yeah.
nitpicking now.
Yeah.
We're nitpicking. We can move on.
I did all of Dondoko.
I'm glad you played that Brad game.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
pretty good game. Made me tear up multiple moments. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Nolan.
Nolan.
How's it going, Nolan?
Nick? Pretty good.
Been playing some of that Pokemon.
A little bit.
You
Ooh,
traveled.
is it red, blue? What are we talking about?
You
Emerald.
traveled the world playing some Pokemon.
Oh, you took your Game Boy?
Yep, I took my Game Boy with the little light on it, and I
Nice.
I got on a train and I went to the New York City,
The New York City.
the big Appleton, and then Go Fest New York was last weekend, and so Bernadette and I went and we played on Randall's Park Island in New York City, and
Is this
Do they
like, are
have
these
a
like
Randall's?
events? Like, are these like actually like officially hosted events, or are these just like everyone gathering together in like a single place kind of?
Like,
I don't
these
know
are-
anything. Yeah,
these are giant fucking events where tickets sell out. And
okay.
there are thousands of people. Yes, and it gets packed.
The game came out 8 years ago this week,
Yeah.
by the way.
Correct. Yes, this week was the 8th anniversary of the game. Yeah.
And I still
Honestly,
remember
feels older.
I still remember the stories about Nolan driving in the middle of the night to downtown. What was it, Round Rock or no?
Yeah, Round Rock.
I still remember the first Pokemon Go related death.
Wait, did that?
Wait,
Oh,
was
no,
it really
that
like
happened
walked off a
Pokemon
cliff or something?
Yeah, someone like backed
Oh
up
my
over like a
God.
cliff and fell. Yeah, because they weren't paying attention. Yeah.
Nolan, be
Jesus.
careful.
Those were the
Well,
days.
I'm very careful. But
Peripheral
yeah,
vision.
so I met up some people that we kind of made friends with here in the Delaware area. We met up in the city and we played Pokemon there. I mean, we did. So there's the way these events work is, and here's a good explanation of how big it is, Nick. If they did not put restrictions on it, you can't play the game, because when they first started doing these Go Fests, they didn't limit it enough. Too many people show up, cell towers get shut down just because
Yeah.
there's too much traffic.
Jesus.
So what they do is you have to buy a ticket for a time slot in which you're allowed to play. If you don't have a ticket in that time slot and you're in that geo area, nothing in the game will load for you. They do that on purpose as like to discourage people from going when you're not supposed to be there. And that process seems to have worked out for them so far.
That's wild, though.
This is a global event, Nick. There's 3 places it happens every year. So this year it was in Sendai, Japan, Madrid, Spain, and then New York. Over the course of a month, they don't do them all at the same time. They split them up. Some people go to multiple of them. Obviously, I'm not. But yeah, and so
Go to Sendai,
there's-
you casual.
dude. I wish I maybe would have. But there's other stuff that's going on right now. But yes, eventually I will probably go to one of the events in Japan. But yeah, and so Nick, there's big events. They have huge like displays. They have big inflatable like Pokemon. They have all these different things. They have giant tents for each of like the teams. Because in the game there's Team Mystic, Team Insight, and Team Valor, and you can go to your team's tent, and they have like raffles for stuff, and they have who here has the biggest Snorlax, and like if you have like the biggest Snorlax in your game, you can get like
That's
a prize.
what she asked.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you get a sense of like what is the Venn diagram for people who take like Pokemon Go seriously versus like people who just really love the Pokemon video game / anime series? Like, are there people who only care about Go and could give a shit about any other Pokemon related game or whatever? Or do you is it
I would say there probably are. I would say that the Venn diagram generally leans towards something else as well, though. you know, a lot of people.
Geocaching hunters.
No, not necessarily that. I'm saying there's a lot of the people that do Pokemon Go also do something else. So be that the mainline game series, be that Pokemon cards, either for actually playing them or collecting them, because they are still putting out new sets of
Of
cards.
course.
crazy.
Oh, they
That's
are?
I've
wild.
seen TikTok.
Yes,
Um,
Bernadette rips them. And
What?
so yeah, they're still doing new cards. Obviously, the anime exists. I don't really know anything about the anime. I don't pay attention to that. I just play. You know, I just recently got back into the mainline game series a couple of years ago, and then playing Pokemon Go. And yeah, there are a lot of people that play it. It is like ridiculously big. And so the other thing is when you have your ticket, so you either have a morning time slot or an evening time slot. So the morning's 9 to 1 and the evening is 3 to 7. But like, you know, obviously a 2-hour gap in between to help clear people in and out. For the opposite time slot that you don't have it, the whole rest of the city you can still play, but it's just like the spawns are kind of different. Like the place physically has like sections. There's like, and I can't remember all of the ones. Like there was like the ghostly something. Hold on, let me see if I still have.
Ooh,
I had a thing
get a
up.
good Ghastly, good Haunter.
No, Ghastly was not a part of this event.
Gengar.
So the different areas were the Brilliant Skies, the Ghostly Woods, the Poolside Cabana, and the Rugged Quarry. And there's like, they actually like decorate, like the Ghostly Woods had like, you know, like spider webs up in the trees, and like the Poolside Cabana had like, you know, like these little pool floats and like stuff like that. Yeah, they go all out. And each different section has a different set of Pokemon that generally spawn in that area. Usually also with like special ones for the events. Like this year they had like a Pikachu and an Eevee with like these sun and moon crowns, because this was the launch of the Solgaleo and Lunala in the game with Necrozma. So it's one of those things. Yeah, there's a lot going on. But yeah, so but Brad, you were talking about like the Venn diagram of people who play it. There's also inside Pokemon Go a Venn diagram of people who play the game, because there's a PvP community in Pokemon Go that people go insane for. A lot of the people that I've kind of met in my area that play Pokemon Go, they're actually more into the PvP side of it. So it's one of those things where a lot of the times, you know, when they make, you know, there's like a Discord group, and they'll make call outs not for like shinies or for like Pokemon with perfect stats. They're looking for Pokemon that have good PvP stats, because they're really into the PvP.
I guess that's like that with
things.
regular Pokemon as well. That kind of split.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, I really. I heard Henry today saying like, this Pokemon game is so good. Literally today, I was off today. This Pokemon game is so good. I was like, oh, he must have been playing. I downloaded a demo for what was kind of the babyish one that came out on the Switch. New Eevee and Pikachu.
Let's go Eevee.
Yeah, I was
There
like,
we
oh,
go.
he must be playing that demo. And then I looked over, and he had a cell phone. I'm like, what fucking Pokemon game are you playing on your cell phone? This ain't Pokemon. I lost interest at that point, because he thinks every game with blocks is Minecraft, and I'm like, I don't know what he's playing, but there's no way that's Pokemon. But you know, I would love for him to get into Pokemon. I would kill for them to make one with voice acting. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, that is true. They still don't. But hey, you know, there's a new one coming out. Maybe this one will be the
one.
Switch.
But hey, man, they're hosting
Perhaps
huge
not.
conventions, international conventions for this thing. I don't think they're really. I don't know if they feel they even need to go. I mean, I know it's sad.
I'm not talking about Go. Go doesn't need voice acting, obviously.
But I'm just saying, Pokemon in general as like a property is still so popular and so ingrained within like gaming culture. So I mean, some self-respect would be nice if that's what it takes to get them to do voice acting. But it's like, it doesn't seem necessary. But hopefully, like Nolan said, hopefully this next one will be the one.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
But anyways,
Henry's starting
to wrap things up. Yeah, as I said, to wrap things up. Yeah, we spent the rest of the day kind of walking around Central Park, playing Pokemon Go. And the crazy thing is, no matter where we went in the city, someone else was playing Pokemon Go.
So weird. There's got to be orgies after these things, right?
Oh, probably.
You say orgies?
Yeah.
So
There's got to be Pokemon Go orgy.
It's people putting
Pokemon
the
orgies.
poke in Pokemon.
yeah, so there's a and one of the things in the game is there's a like kind of trophies, like things you want to medals is what they're called, that you want to aim for, like catch this many of this type of Pokemon, or walk 50,000 kilometers or some shit like that. There's a lot of them, and one of them is there's an item in the game called a lure, and if you put a lure up on either a Pokestop or a gym, it will spawn Pokemon at a more frequent basis than just normal. It'll actually have extra spawns. So it's nice to do that. If you lure up a stop, it helps everyone else too. You don't just help yourself. And when there's a medal in the game for 2,500, I think, Pokemon caught by other people off of your lures. So essentially, you put in a lure. If someone else catches a Pokemon off of it, that counts for you. And so, since getting back into the game in 2020, late 2021 or 2022, I can't remember when I got back into it. I think maybe early 2022 is when I got back into it. I had not gotten that many. When I went to New York, I was at 2,300. That afternoon, I was at like 2,700 from putting up a couple of lures, because so many people are playing it in the city. It is insane how many people, like everywhere we went after before we went to Central Park, we stopped at like a place to get bubble tea. Like there was like 3 other tables of people in there clearly playing Pokemon Go. A guy sat down and was I guess he knew we were playing, and he turns to me and shows me like a hundo that he caught. Never fucking seen this person in my life, and they're just interacting with me because he could tell we were doing Pokemon Go as well. I mean,
New York City is just such a fucking cross section of, there's everything is everywhere in New York City, and that's
for sure
wild.
And but yeah, we stayed at a hotel that was close to Central Park and Times Square, and so then we actually ended up walking to, there's a Jollibee in Times Square, and so we walked and got some Jollibee, which was nice.
Jollibee?
It's Filipino fried chicken, with one of the specialties being spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
Yeah, spaghetti with little hot dogs cut up in the spaghetti.
I'm surprised you never heard of Jollibee.
They don't exist in Texas, Chris Dave. Actually, I say that. Isn't there one like in Houston or something?
Yeah, there's some in Houston from what I understand.
Yeah, they didn't used to be.
I've only seen them on YouTube. Food.
I've been to New York City twice in the past. Like
so
2
Nick,
years.
the Jollibee in New York, I don't think has been there that long. I never had Jollibee. The first time I had it was when I went to Hawaii. In whatever year that was, I can't remember.
Oh, there's one in San Antonio.
Okay, so yeah, they're starting to pop up. They're spreading because it's actually really good fried chicken, and people really like their spaghetti.
Greywood says it's a Filipino chain, so it's mainly on the West Coast.
Correct. Yeah, there's a lot more of them on the West Coast than anywhere else, because obviously the West Coast is the closest to the Philippines.
Yeah.
There's a lot more Filipino community on the West Coast.
Explains Hawaii as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Hawaii. Yeah, for sure. But yeah. So anyway, that was our New York trip. It was definitely a lot of fun. It was definitely hot and humid, because literally as we were taking a ferry to the island, because the only way to get to the island is either by a ferry or walking, and it's a very long walk. Thunderstorms out of nowhere for like most of the ferry ride, and then like 5 minutes after we got off the ferry, it was still like raining. We had brought an umbrella because we knew it was going to rain, but then the sun came out, and so it just became so like muggy and like it was
that's
horrible.
Gross.
Yeah, that was the only. I was like I know I'm going to be sweaty and gross, and there's nothing I can do about it, and so
I just embrace it.
And yeah, thankfully I brought my camel pack, so I had lots of water. And we made it through the day. But yeah, caught a lot of Pokemon, got a lot of shinies.
Sounds like fun. New York City is still like, I've been there twice in the past 2 years, but at both times I've gone has been for a very limited amount of time with very limited amount of like free time to go explore. Both times I was like, I'm gonna go check out Times Square. Never happened. So I've still never been to Times Square.
Times Square is a very packed, full of people place taking like photos, and then people in knockoff like character costumes, and that's it.
I did get to do a little exploring of Central Park, which is always fun.
Dude, Central Park is huge.
Yeah, Yeah, it still blows my mind that there's
Oh,
a
I
zoo in
know.
Central
I've
Park.
played Spider-Man. It sucks. There's never anything high enough to swing on.
It's true. That is true.
Yes, there is a zoo in Central Park. Yes, we went by it. We didn't actually go in it, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. So real quick, just quick mention. I played a demo that I feel is worthy of mentioning.
Wow.
Your
I
cow
hope it's
game?
Kunitsugami.
Well, no. Well, actually, I did. So you're right. I did play two. I did play Kunitsugami.
Respect.
Wait, what?
I knew when you didn't get the footage that you were like, "Fuck this shit."
Wait, me?
Yeah, I did finish the
No.
Kunitsugami demo, so I would like to. I have my own.
No. You don't understand. I played Kunitsugami last week on the night that I was trying to stream, when I just tried to stream Destiny 2, and just had the worst
so you
fucking
were
time, and I was flustered and kind of annoyed and even borderline pissed off. So I was like, fine, fuck it. I'll play the Kunitsugami demo. I played it for about 15 minutes, and chat was just fucking dead to the world. I was like, yeah, no, this is a waste of my fucking time. And I stopped. And that's the only reason I stopped playing the Kunitsugami demo. I think that game actually is pretty cool.
Maybe you should sit down and give it another shot.
No,
There's
There is nothing about that demo that made me think I'm not going to play that game. I think that game.
Well, I finished the demo, and I will say, it is I think a really cool looking game, and it's a neat idea, and it's
unique.
Like it's unique, and there's some like loving like the UI and some of the little things they do to kind of like show off the little elements of the game. I think is like really cool, really vibing with that stuff. Now, as a like as a like tactical whatever the fuck it is game, there are some like awkward, man, I was hoping you played more so some of this would make sense to you. But
I mean, even if I did, it was like over a week ago, and I don't really remember the specifics of like mechanics or anything.
Yeah, I know. But well, if you had finished the demo, you would have.
I also have a really weird history with demos in general. I just don't. Like, I usually play a game long enough to, like, the moment I kind of get the feel for, like, okay, I like this, I'm going to play it, or I don't like this, I'm not going to play it. The moment I kind of have that thought, I pretty much just stop playing the demo.
Okay, well,
or anything.
It's a little weird. So it's kind of tower defense-y, but you're not actually setting up many towers, at least not yet, not in the demo. You do set up, like, these walls at some point. Walls, gates, things. But, yeah, there's a princess that you're guiding to a Torii gate.
You're trying to protect the princess while
you're trying to protect her. Yeah, and
she's going to use her magic powers to break through the gate.
She follows this path slowly, and then at the other end of the path, there are these monsters at night piling out of the gate. During the day, you're kind of like setting up. You're setting up villagers, which are kind of like your towers, essentially, if you will. Like there's like a warrior one and a like a support one and an archer one later in the demo, and I know there's more, obviously. And you kind of you can level them up, the class, and you set them up in different places, kind of like tower defense-y, because you know monsters are going to come down the path and try to attack the princess, right? And the princess is slowly walking towards the gate. Anyways, it's a little strange, some of the choices they make, and it's a little awkward, and it's such a cool, fresh idea, and I was kind of like it made me really intrigued, especially because it looked nice, and like I said, the UI and stuff is really cool, but mechanically, some of it I really don't understand, because there's at the end of the stages, there's a gate that monsters pile out of, and like the area, the little play area has multiple paths for the monsters to go down. So it's kind of a situation where you're like, oh, I want to make sure I have dudes set up to block these paths, or so they could attack these monsters that could go down these other paths, so they don't circle around and get to the princess, right? But it doesn't make sense so far from the levels I've played, and I've even replayed. It doesn't, even a boss, it doesn't make sense to me why I shouldn't just put all my dudes right in front of the gate where the enemies are coming out of. It doesn't make sense to do anything but that. And it's very strange to me, like tactically, as someone who plays a lot of tactics games, like why would I let them even get further into the map so they can start going down different paths, and all of a sudden my resources my towers or whatever are spread too thin. Why would I not just set them all up right in front of this gate? And let me tell you, not only does it work, it really doesn't make sense to do anything but that. And the strange part is the princess is slowly walking towards that gate, and it
Down the
eventually gets to
center.
the point where the princess is just standing in front of that gate, and it's like, well, I'm glad all my dudes are set up in front of this gate that the monsters are piling out of, because the princess is right in front of it, just standing there now. So I kind of have to be, but it doesn't make sense for me to set up further away at any point.
I'm
Because-
gonna suggest that since this is a demo, these are early levels for you to experience.
It is
And
early
that
levels. It is
there-
early levels.
There's probably a bunch of different types of enemies that will immediately kill certain types that you have available right now.
So
like, it would not be conducive
That's like
necessarily.
flying enemies, right? Where archers are good against flying enemies.
Yeah.
I have an attack as a playable character that can like be like anti-air, but still, it still doesn't make sense to set up further away, because I'm doing way more damage to these dudes early on. And don't forget, like, I'm my character as well, so I'm just talking about the way I set up my defenses, these villagers. It's strange, and you're right, these are early levels. I do believe this is just the beginning of the game, but it's awkward because it's not like the princess is still has to end up at the point where the monsters are piling out of. That's her destination. And
I'm gonna guess future levels, her pathway is not gonna be as simple, because in the demo
Maybe-
she's like walking down the
yeah.
center, it's just a beeline straight for that point. And maybe her pathway will be more complex. Enemies will be stronger. There'll be more
it's always
enemies.
towards the gate, I will say, because the gate is what she has to purify or whatever for you to like beat the level. And let me tell you, the later levels that I did, or the later level that I did, is like segmented into like multiple gates. But it doesn't. I thought when I cleared a gate, it would reset like the day-night cycle, but it didn't. So I got to the end of like, it was nighttime, and I got to the end, and I was like, all right, I'm going to purify this gate. But it was the next set of enemies started coming at me, and I didn't have time to like set up anything in the next area. It's very strange. Like, what I'm getting at is like, this is like a super cool idea and a super fresh look, I think. But like, I'm starting to worry a little bit about like kind of what I was saying about Metal Slug before, I think the podcast, where it's not easy doing a good strategy game, and I'm a little worried that I hope this isn't tactically, this game gets to a place where everything feels good and balanced and smart, because right now, like you can't have the princess back up a little. So you're forced to just pile all your dudes right in front of that gate where the monsters are coming out of, because like I said, she is going to that place. And there is a time where she could just be standing right in front of it and you can't have her back up. And it's weird.
You had no control over her.
You have no control over that. And I'm like,
It seems
feels
weird.
awkward. Anyways,
I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense later, but
I
yeah,
hope it gets there. I hope it gets there, because I love that Capcom is putting out like a smaller game. This feels like, you know, it could be like a fancy indie game even. And the developer of this, the director did do like another Capcom indie game before that, Metroidvania, underwater Metroidvania.
This feels like it almost feels like it's on the level. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but it almost feels to me like a Bot and Kaitos kind of situation, where it's this kind of like weird experimental concept being done by like a major studio. I don't know. I mean, maybe
that was a big RPG. But
okay, maybe Bot and Kaitos is not what I'm thinking of. What's the like? Isn't there like a weird like top down like pinball RPG? Not pinball.
Oh, Odama.
Oh,
yeah, that's not.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Well, the GameCube one, right? The pinball RPG.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking of Odama then. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Bot and Kaitos is totally wrong.
This game is definitely on my radar now, but I am definitely looking for reviews, and I don't really want to get into like too much of the other stuff, but I just want to do some quick shout outs, because there's a few more of the Steam Next Fest stuff that I played that I thought was pretty cool. Real quick, and I think Nolan should look into this one. Thank goodness you're here. This is someone in our fantasy critic, like one of the community leagues, actually drafted this at the beginning of the year, and I don't think anyone knew what it was. But there was a trailer for it, and it's really funny. and it has Matt Berry in it. So
Oh
it's like
yeah.
it's like Untitled Goose Game, but like super British and super funny. And
With Matt Berry.
there's not much to it. Like, I believe even one of the trailers says this is a short game. So I don't think this is a game you're going to be playing for more than a couple hours. I looked up the developer's last game, and apparently it was like 25 minutes long. So, but like the production values and like the bits and the humor and the writing and the performances seem so fancy. Like it's hilariously British and silly. I highly recommend checking out the demo. You're a character who's just, it's like, it's like a goose game basically, but you even have less mechanics than the fucking goose game. All you can do is
That's
slap
wild.
things. You slap things and slap people, and it's very British.
I'm in.
And it's just the performances, and it's just funny. It's just a goofy little game. And it comes out soon, I think, actually. So also fuck it. Tactical Breach Wizards is it's the game from the dude what made Gunpoint. Y'all remember Gunpoint?
Yep.
Gunpoint and Heat Signature. This is, it kind of seems like XCOM. So remember the breaching XCOM game? Now I'm feeling like we talked about this at some point. You remember the XCOM game that was about breaching? What was it called? Chris Davis.
I'm blanking on it right now. I know what you're talking about.
It was an XCOM game that literally came out a few years ago.
Chimera Squad.
Chimera Squad.
Yeah.
I feel a little bad for this developer because I'm pretty sure he started development before. Because remember when we found out about Chimera Squad, and it came out like really soon after, I feel like, which in that game, it was sort of like a smaller scale XCOM where it was more about breaching these facilities, these rooms. And it was all about that breach and where are you going to enter and take down all the aliens. This is like basically that, but funny. It's really funny. So I recommend checking out the demo. The weird part is I think it's like really well written and like legitimately funny, but all of the writing is the character interactions. Like, you have these characters on your squad and they're having like conversations before they breach a room. Literally, they're sitting outside the door about to breach and they have these back and forth. And it's very funny. Like, it's very witty and funny, but pretty much all of the storytelling is in those moments. And I could see someone like buttoning through it just to get to the gameplay. And that would be kind of a bummer because honestly, I feel like the humor is probably half the draw of this game because the rest of it is very reminiscent of like a XCOM game, but almost more like Into the Breach where it's about taking down enemies very quickly. What it actually reminded me a lot of was Invisible Ink. Although I think Invisible Ink feels like a much more like sophisticated tactical game. This, so far, what I played at the demo, which it was a pretty meaty demo, it feels a little simple. Not like stuff I've seen before in this type of game. Very XCOM, very Into the Breach, very Invisible Ink. But like I said, half the draw I feel like is the humor of the game. And it's called Tactical Breach Wizards. You can just imagine the jokes that they're playing with here, and it is. I thought it was going to be kind of eye rolly, because like I hate to say it, but it sounds like a Chris Davis game when you say Tactical Breach Wizards, right? Like almost like a gimmick, right? Like I Am Bread or something. Oh, they're wizards, but they're military
SWAT team wizards,
whatever, right?
Okay, sure.
But I was actually surprised, like, oh, this is actually really funny. So this is the one that I said before the show I kind of wish was a roguelike, but it is just a single player play through it and you're done kind of game, which seems disappointing for this type of tactics game, which is very Into the Breach, like I said. XCOM. Invisible Ink was also a roguelike. I kind of wish it was a game I could keep going, because
the store page says it's only going to be like 8 to 10 hours long,
which is fine. I mean, it's fine. It's just I kind of wish that was Metal Slug, and not this one. But again, it's another one that I wish listed pretty quickly. I'll, depending on reviews, I'll check it out. I never played Heat Signature, but I know some people like that. Chris Davis, you messed around with Heat Signature?
I played a little bit of it. The problem was it was more of a simulation than actual the fun writing of Gunpoint. So I kind of bounced off it after a while.
Yeah, so it's pretty charming. So again, I recommend checking out this demo, and I'm going to stop.
Okay, I have one quick mention. This is what I tried to get to earlier, before we started talking about Kunitsugami. I played the demo for Holston, and this is the demo. It's been out. I think it might have even been out before Steam Next Fest or Summer Game Fest or whatever.
Some game about
and
cows.
Holston? No, dude. This is like a crazy
I think he's making a joke.
throwback,
Making a joke.
crazy throwback to like survival, like classic survival horror with like a really neat twist on perspective.
That's what it
So-
is, right? Like you have footage, right?
Yeah. I'm
It's,
scrolling through.
it's that you're looking like a classic Resident Evil, maybe even like more simple looking, but then it has the over the shoulder. It's kind of what we always.
So
It goes full Resident Evil 4.
It does, and I'll get to that in just a second. But like, it is deeper than that on even outside of that, right? Because I ended up playing this demo. The demo is actually really unique because it's, instead of being like a vertical slice of the game, it's like an actual thing that's just built to demonstrate the mechanics and like what makes the game unique. So none of the stuff in the demo, as far as I understand, is really in the actual game. It's just kind of like, here's scenarios that you'll find in the game, and it gives you a chance to play with the mechanics. And the mechanics include like you can use the shoulder buttons to pan the camera 360 degrees at any time to kind of like explore the environment in any room. So think of like Resident Evil 1, but instead of locked cameras, you can like spin it around and use that to like see different parts of the environment. You also have a dodge and a kick, so you can use you have a flashlight, so you're managing resources like you would in a survival horror game. You need to find batteries to keep your flashlight powered.
Signalis. It seems
yeah,
very
a little-
like an
yeah.
isometric Resident Evil.
Yeah, it does
game.
seem a little Signalis, which is great because I think Signalis was fantastic. But yes, the real unique thing about this game, and Chris Davis, I don't know if you're able to fast forward.
It's a
because
wild look. Yeah, fast forward a little bit because
you
it's
can go
wild.
to like,
It just goes.
like the last like 30 seconds of this footage. Because when you go into when you have a weapon and you go into combat, when you go to aim the gun, the camera pulls in super close to you, like you're over the shoulder. So this environment that you were exploring in like this traditional kind of like semi-isometric survival horror thing suddenly becomes like a third-person action game. You're exploring it you're looking at it from a completely different perspective, and you're aiming down, and you're aiming down the sights with your gun like over the shoulder, and it turns.
It seems like it almost seems like a hack, but then they turned it into like
a mechanic.
Like a Witcher 1 when they decided, we're just gonna like take this isometric game and what happens if we just put the camera behind Geralt? Yeah,
right. And it is. I was having a really hard time getting good footage of this game for unrelated reasons, but like that is the only time I managed to get footage of the actual over the shoulder mechanic. But there's a lot going on here, and it is very neat. It's definitely on my radar now because I love these kind of throwback survival horror experiences.
Was it Conscript?
Conscript, yeah, that's on my radar. It's coming out later this month. But this is just.
Is it a verb or a noun? That's the question.
This game has like just the way this demo, like the love and craftsmanship behind this demo is really impressive. Like there's this character that kind of like follows you and like they're explaining the mechanics of the game, but they're talking to the character as if he like, hey, to do this you push this button. He's like, what do you mean push this button? Not what he's acting like he doesn't know he's in a video game and stuff. So the writing's really clever, it's funny. And then there's this character, this creepy dude kind of following you around, and like he'll tell you some shit, you'll run through this like hallway, you'll get to the next kind of like checkpoint and thing, and all of a sudden he's standing in front of you and you're like, how the fuck did you get here? You were just way the fuck back there. And he's like, that's not important. And then he just keeps telling you stuff. Like it's just it's clever. And like there's multiple sections to this demo. It's actually really comprehensive. There's one where
the actual like combat.
It felt nice. Again, I've only been able to really do it that one time, and then
I feel like there's a lot of indie horror games that are like nail the look of like a PlayStation 1 game. And granted, this is isometric. This isn't even like necessarily classic Resident Evil, but there's a lot of games that look like that. And they're cool to look at. Like I feel like there's been a rise in them.
Oh, I think this is going to be more Resident Evil than you give it credit for.
No. I know. What I'm saying is like a lot of the games that are looking like classic Resident Evil indie games are actually kind of shit to play.
Oh, I think this feels great.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, like because
like Daymare 98 or whatever games like that. Games that are like you know,
the character is
lazily look
responsive.
like classic.
The character is responsive. The kick, you can like you can temporarily incapacitate enemies by kicking them. So if you're running out of bullets, you're trying to like maintain ammo, whatever, you can just like kick them real quick, and that like knocks them on their ass, but they'll come crawling towards you. You can like you can like kick furniture around, so like furniture is not like locked in place and stuff. So like you can actually solve puzzles by like moving furniture around or even kicking it to move it. And and there's these like weird like it almost like look like cordyceps from The Last of Us, but they're like these like tentacle things that stick out, and they're sensitive to light. So like if you can find ways to like shine light on them, whether it's with a flashlight or like turning on lights or just finding other ways to create new light sources in the environment, that'll like open new areas to explore. Yeah, man, there's a lot.
This
lot
is
going
this
on.
is this like far along? Is this coming out soon?
There's no date for it yet. It gives me the impression that we'll probably I don't know if it's this year, but maybe next year. I don't know. It looks really cool. It's definitely on my radar now. And with that, I think we're coming to the end of our time tonight. So why don't we just move right into?
Can I just mention one thing?
Oh, sure.
You finished something, right?
I cleared off an item on my bucket list. I played through.
Oh yeah.
Completely on
Bucket
stream,
list.
the original Resident Evil.
I cannot believe you have
That
never
is
played
shocking.
Resident Evil.
This is shocking news.
Okay, so
That you had never played Resident Evil 1?
I had tried to play Resident Evil 1. So back in the day, the game came out in 96, okay? I was 11 at the time. Okay.
Let's call this your 4-player minute.
All right, Grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah, this
fine.
is 4-player minute.
I'll even call Holden my 4-player minute.
Okay. Well, I'll go first for the 4-player minute real quick, so I can keep it. Don't have to
Wait, did
delay
you bring
it
footage of
5
this? Is this look any different, or is this just like classic?
Oh, he brought footage. Well, so you gotta.
I didn't bring.
Like, if it's a big deal, you gotta set it up as a big deal. You know.
I mean, it's a personal thing. So, GOG did a deal with Capcom to do ports of the original PC versions of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
They just released Resident Evil 1, and 2 and 3 are coming later this year. 3, I'm especially excited for. The catch is that, I mean, I'm a slut for Resident Evil 3. I love that game. The catch with these is that these are, for preservation's sake, the original versions of these ports. So we're talking for Resident Evil 1, it's the Windows 95 version. So, I mean, we're talking about a game that was made for like 480i monitors and stuff like that. So it does not look good by modern standards. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought footage.
You played the purest version.
I played the
purest, because it's tuned up some, right?
Actually, yeah, I didn't play the purest version because there's some things that the PC version did not do compared to PlayStation or Sega Saturn. Like, for example, in the PC version, no ink ribbons, so you can save anytime, anywhere. Well, at any typewriter.
Boo! That's a fucking bad. That's bad. Boo!
Yeah. So the stress of managing your saves is not there. That being said, I did actually die once, which kind of surprised me.
Once.
But here's the thing: is that I played the original Resident Evil, the director's cut, in like '97, so I was like 12 at the time.
Wait.
When you're 12, like, horror things can still get to you. Like it got.
You
to
played
me.
director's cut.
Yes.
You just didn't play Okay, so you still played Resident Evil 1.
I didn't finish Resident Evil 1 back in the day. I got to Neptune and did not complete Plant 42. And I mean, that's over the halfway point.
You didn't finish director's cut, or you didn't finish the original Resident Evil?
I didn't play the original Resident Evil. I played the director's cut back in the day.
Okay.
And he only got about 60 to 70% of the way through.
60%. The thing that stopped me was that what's one of the big rules of like game design, especially back in the day? If there's no music playing, shit's about to go down. Okay, half that game is all about no music whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
So that I kept it anticipating and expecting terrible things to happen, and then anticipation just ate me up, and I just stopped playing because I got too scared. Well,
I mean, that's why music shouldn't be overdone in horror games, I feel like, honestly.
I agree.
I think that makes it scarier, and that's good.
100%. I agree with you there. So I finally got around to it, and so this Saturday I played it entirely on a stream in like 5 hours. I had a couple mods installed. I did the classic Rebirth mod, which was done to make it basically more compatible with modern systems. And then on top of that,
So the GOG release still needs a lot of assistance?
not really. Like, it's playable, but only just.
This is why I don't fuck with a lot. I mean, because I hate when they do that. I mean,
Yeah. And then there was another community mod that came out.
that barely work.
There was another community mod that came out about 4 years ago. It's called the Seamless HD mod. Basically, it does neural network AI upscaling, quote unquote.
Yeah, a lot of pre-rendered background games.
Yeah, like
have those mods.
Yeah, the original, like if you were to just boot up the game vanilla on GOG, the backgrounds look atrocious.
Yeah.
But
Back in the day.
with this mod, like you can tell where the AI struggled, especially since it's AI from like 2020, 2019. So there's a lot of backgrounds that just you can tell where the problems are. But there's also some that actually look pretty stinking good.
Stinking.
Yeah, like surprisingly good looking. So yeah, I finally knocked that off my bucket list. That was
the only like old classic Resident Evil that you hadn't played. You've played like Resident Evil 2, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody played 2. I think the reason a lot of people got into the series with 2, and then they kept playing it, and at some point Remake came out, and I feel like once Remake came out, it's like, well, why would I ever go back to play the old dusty one when I have Remake, which is one of the best Resident Evil games without a doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I guess I could see how that
the original RE Remake is still in my top 10 games of all time.
It's incredible.
Love that fucking game. Love that fucking game.
And the director's cut had the DualShock support, right? So
yeah.
I mean,
and it I mean, there was 2 different versions of the director's cut. There was the director's cut, which came with a demo.
I had the DualShock
2
version,
and the DualShock version, which was released later because of the delay of RE2's release.
See, that's how I did it. I played 2 first, and then I went back, and then I played the director's cut.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
cool.
it was.
Well, I'm glad you played it. It's definitely one of those. Like, if you're into that genre at all, it's kind of like, I feel like everybody should experience it, one way or the other.
Oh, man.
Yeah, at least 2, I think. Like, I don't think 1 has aged all that well as a whole. I mean, the remaster blows everything out of the water. The remake.
Right, but the remake is also made more impressive if you have the prior experience having played the original, because it is such a cool translation of that original game.
It kind of looks like ass, honestly. That original Resident Evil 2 was such a huge glow up. I think people forget how much of a glow up 2 was.
I still remember, because I bought a PlayStation because I wanted to play Resident Evil so bad, and I wanted to play it so bad because one of my friends when I was younger kept telling me, "Oh my god, dude, you're never gonna believe how scary this game is." The first you step into the mansion, and the first thing you hear is this super creepy like clock ticking in the background, and I was like, "Oh, that's I don't know what the way he described it is like sounds super creepy." And then I remember booting up the game for the first time, stepping into that hallway, and you just hear and there's no music playing, and I was like,
"Yeah,
not as terrifying as I had pictured in my mind."
That Silent Hill demo though, that fucked up everyone.
Earlier, did you make a TikTok sound?
Yes. You didn't hear it?
It didn't come through. Yeah, your mic cut it out. So
yeah,
you just saw you making a thing, but not actually making any noise.
God damn it! Well, I'm sure my Audacity picked it up, so people at home will hear it. They're just not on the stream.
Or you'll just edit into the final product.
Or that, yeah. Nah, I probably won't.
Yeah, no, you won't.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, 4-player minute. We're kind of, we're kind of in it. I'll call Holston my 4-player minute because it's one of the something I've been thinking about the past couple of days. So, Brad,
I got a real 4-player minute.
Go for it.
My real 4-player minute. Blah, blah, blah.
Words.
I also started playing Dragon's Dogma 2 again. And let me tell you, I mean, it was always a game I was going to get back to, right? But I bought it, I didn't rent it. So I was like, I got to move on to other stuff. Anyways, my theme of my 4-player minute is, hey, it pays to wait sometimes. they finally fucking the ray tracing was forced or whatever. Okay, it ran like shit on PS5. They finally managed to like patch in a performance mode. They have a
Nice.
performance mode in Dragon's Dogma 2 now, and the game runs so much better. It's crazy. It was they they were forcing the ray tracing. They didn't have an option, and now they just if you go into the graphical settings, it's not even called performance mode. It's called graphical settings low, but it's not really like a PC low. It just toggles off ray tracing and like some other shit or whatever. It's weird. It's a weirdly like PC sounding thing, but it's really just a performance mode.
Is it running at 60 or is it like a stable 30?
No, it's running higher than 30 outside of towns and stuff. It's not like a stable 60. I mean, but my God, Dragon's Dogma 2 when it shipped ran it was lucky to stay at 30, right? Ever.
On console. I remember it being pretty.
No, on PC is PC, right? But on a PS5, which you would think would certainly be powerful enough to run Dragon's Dogma, man, it was messy.
It probably wasn't optimized for it. So.
Yeah, not at all. So it's nice to get back into that, which I feel they also did some quality of life stuff too, like being able to like add a vendor, access your like item box and stuff like that. Anyways, so the whole idea is that like I was always going to get back to it, but it felt good to wait because I feel like I'm just fundamentally playing like a better product than the one that shipped, and that's the case. A lot is. I don't know if you remember when I brought up Dread Delusion on the podcast, which is another one I've put down and waited, but they are. I don't know if y'all remember my main complaint, but they are patching in a hard mode this month or next month, which my main complaint was like this game was far too easy, and they listened, and now that was a game I was enjoying a lot, but like they're also tweaking the combat as well, and before that there was a patch to adjust balance to make it more difficult towards the end of the game, like sort of the scaling. So all in all, I think it's when I finally pick it back up, it's going to be like a much better product. Same with Ayuden Chronicles, got a lot of issues addressed in patches, both performance bugs, but also just balance and stuff. And I always knew I was going to go back to these games. I feel like this whole year I've been playing banger games for a lot, sometimes putting them down and going, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to come back to that. And, sometimes it's hard for me to go back to a game, but every game I've revisited and, like I finished Rebirth, I finished Yakuza, I'm blazing my way through Dragon's Dogma, Unicorn Overlord, like it's better. And like I'm always a little worried, like am I gonna like struggle getting back into this? And almost everyone I'm like, oh no, I love this shit. This whole year has been banger after banger for me, and I'm glad that everything's holding up on revisits. And yeah, so that's it. Sometimes it pays to wait, even if you're not doing it on purpose. You're just doing it because of life reasons. It feels good to when
that's why I'm waiting on Baldur's Gate 3, baby. It's going to be
shut the fuck up, Nick. That is not game. Shut the fuck up. That game is fixed. Stop it. Does not apply.
Anyways, Nolan?
Disrespectful.
I know, that was uncalled for. I apologize.
Yes. My 4-player minute starts now. My sweat is that it's very warm outside, and my AC is having trouble right now.
Okay.
Hey, it's actually hotter here than it was in Austin today, so fuck you.
What?
Really?
Yes, the past several weeks, every time I look at my weather app, it's like, 11 degrees hotter than normal, 15 degrees hotter than normal.
To be fair, we had a hurricane, but okay.
Well, yes, correct. I understand that. But yeah, and so just that's been challenging, mainly just because the room where I do all of my gaming is also just happens to be like the warmest room in the house. And
this
so that's
is why
I
want this horrifying. I don't want to hear these stories. I hate owning property because of stories like this. I don't like it.
For sure. It's it's my responsibility to take care of everything. And so I was like, man, I should have like set up in my basement. But that's other challenges
I
around
mean, I'm
that
about to build
too.
up a house. Like, I share your pain and fear, Brad.
Yeah,
And it's not just that. Like my parents literally just got hit by a tornado,
that's true.
and the total cost of what is being done on that house after the fact, you would not fucking believe. My God. I mean, it is just halfway to a home. It is
Yeah.
halfway to a home in 2024. It is.
Yep. But besides that, yeah, gaming lately. I've kind of been getting back into older Pokemon games, like 3DS games. Just because
Hey,
I
Venn
skipped for a
diagram.
long time. I skipped for a long time. I stopped playing when I
Are
lived in
you
New
actually busting out a
Braunfels.
3DS?
Mhm.
Nice.
I actually ended up buying a grip for my 3DS because I never
Shit.
owned one. Because back
Circle
when I
Pad Pro,
played the
baby.
games, back when I actually played the games for real, I was too cheap. I was too cheap. I was too poor to even buy like a $10 grip for my 3DS. I was like, I don't need one. But now that I've gotten into it again and I'm playing them, I'm like, man, I'm now too lazy, or not too lazy, I can't be bothered to be uncomfortable, I guess, when I'm gaming, put it that way. And so I was like, I just went on Amazon and bought like a $10 grip for my 3DS so I can actually be comfortable when I'm playing these games.
I'm telling you,
uh
man. Some of these grips save my ass. I
oh no,
love.
for sure. I
Man,
don't know why I did not buy one a long time ago.
you know, I just realized I haven't booted up a 3DS in so long. I don't even remember what. I wonder if I go boot it up right now and look at the 3D effect, if it'll still blow my mind like it did the first time I did.
Well, I don't think it's gonna blow your mind. The entire world said nah to 3D
Yeah, Nick, that's the
years ago.
reason why one of the last gens of the 3DS was the 2DS.
I know.
Uh,
I played all the way through Ocarina of Time
That
3DS
E3
in
though,
3D.
that E3, remember, it blew our
yeah,
mind.
it
It
did.
We were
wasn't.
No,
like,
for
"This is
sure.
magic."
I was like,
It
this is
was.
fucking cool.
It was. But yeah, and so I've been playing some of those mainly just because the 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 shutdown of the kind of link between the 3DS games and the modern Switch games does have a lifespan
Mm.
on it. They shut down all of the everything else on the 3DS besides Pokemon Bank is the app that you need to transfer Pokemon. They actually are keeping that service alive, but like
Hmm.
every other online service, they shut down earlier this year. But I know that that's got a limited lifespan on it, and so I was like, all right, I probably should go through and like kind of try to complete these games and play these games and whatnot before they're like shut down for good, because it's
Right.
gonna happen. But yeah, I just kind of been getting back into them. It's been a lot of fun, kind of revisiting the ones I never actually played before.
Nice.
So yeah, it's one of those things where I think back in 20, what year would that have been? 2014 maybe was when I stopped playing Pokemon. I think I had just gotten like into like the like, oh, all of these games are the same, but I think right then is when they kind of came out with like a variety of different updates and stuff, and I just missed them all. And I was just kind of salty about it, and then got back into it, and now I've been having a lot of fun. And so, yep,
All that matters.
yep, for sure.
Cool. Cool. Well, guys, I think we have reached the end of this podcast. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to watch us live on twitch.tv/4Player Podcast. Reminder, we normally record these on Tuesday nights. It is Wednesday now, but Tuesday is the normal night at 8 p.m. Join us for Trailer Talk Live at around 8 p.m., and then we'll start recording usually around 8:30. In the meantime, you can find all of our our archive episodes on 4playernetwork.com, and of course you can join us in Discord at discord.gg/4player, and we'll be back next week with another episode. So in the meantime, everybody be good to each other, play video games, and good night.
Bye.
Bye.
One segment show. What is this? We did it.
802.
802.
Wharf Avenue.
What?
Oh man. Let me tell you. You know what's also about to shut down? The 360 digital store.
On the 29th,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Store. If you have a Connect still, let me tell you, man. Buy some Connect
Still?
games. Or, okay, Connect games, there's a lot of physical Connect games, but Connect Party, the Double Fine one, it was the sequel. Remember Happy Action Theater? They made that Connect game Happy Action Theater. And then they did another version of it called Connect Party, or maybe it was a rebranding. Dude, the kids love that shit. It is wild. It's like I remember I was in a fucking game exchange years and years ago. Malia and I were fucking just started dating. I don't know. And I was in a game exchange and I was like, look at all these Connect games. They cost nothing. I'm gonna buy all these Connect games. Connect is stupid. But one day, let me tell you, you know what? Maybe Malia was pregnant with the first one. Anyways, like I'm gonna buy all these Connects because one day, you know, we're gonna have children. They're gonna love this fucking thing. And sure enough, I busted that shit out this summer, and they fucking love that shit.
Nice.
Going nuts.
The long game. You played the long game with the
Sucks
Kinect
for grown-ups.
and it worked.
It's still not good. It's no Wii. I'll tell you that much.
It ain't no Wii. Okay.
I bought this really unhinged Final Fantasy Tactics merch off of eBay recently. And let me tell you, it feels crazy. Because it was some Japan only shit from the 90s. And it it feels old. It looks and feels old. But like you open it up and the receipt's still in there, because I guess that's pretty common in Japan, is they always keep the receipts. So it's wild to see these Japanese receipts from like 1997, but they're like cards, and they're in the other. I wish I brought it in here, but
Oh, and the
man,
registration
it's like,
cards too. Those are big.
yeah. I mean, everything's there, and it's like it's almost mint condition. It's weird to see something that seems kind of like basically untouched, but from like the 90s or whatever. It's like there's like cards for like all of like the job classes and everything, all the characters, summons from Final Fantasy Tactics, and they did like 2 volumes of them, volume 1 and 2 with, and they have like I mean, they have like the items and stuff from the game on the backs, and it's like amazing. Like if you're a Final Fantasy Tactics fan, it feels like a holy grail sort of thing. I love the job class character art stuff from that game so much. Like for years and years, I've wanted something with that art on it, and to find out that this even existed, this official like stuff from that game from so long ago, was so crazy. Oh, wild stuff. The problem is I want to put the cards in something, but they're not card sized. They're smaller, and I feel like the only way I'm gonna be able to put them in anything is like some sort of custom shit. They're like almost business card size, but longer. And I was like, well, maybe there's some business card stuff, like cool, like for, you know, collecting business cards. But again, it's too long for that. So I don't know how to like just store them or display them, some sort of. But I love them so much, I just don't know what to do with them. But man, I'm so glad I got it. It just seemed like such a weird, random, rare thing. And I don't know if you've bought stuff off of eBay lately, but everything's a scam. I think I've talked about it. Everything's a scam.
I feel like
the
you
world
see this once
sucks.
a week. You're like, I don't know if you've bought anything on eBay lately.
True though. The internet is terrible now. It is so bad. And I go on eBay to look for this thing, and I know it's the same one from all these different sellers with all these different prices, and their claim, like it's made to look like a bunch of different people are selling the same thing, but it is just the one thing. There's fucking one of them, and it's the same person, has all these different accounts and shit. Like it's so weird, because I don't know. I hate it. I hate it. It's all business.
All
and the business
bullshit.
is to fuck people over.
It's true.
But I mean, that's how you drive up prices, probably. You're like, oh,
for sure.
you want this really rare thing? Well, here's all these different people selling it for this crazy price. It wasn't that crazy. but it's the same one. Anyways, I'm going to bed.
As am I.
Have a good night.
I'm sure Nolan is too.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, thanks for
I'll see
thanks for
you
sticking it
guys
out, Nolan, even though you were
later.
tired.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't have been here.
I know. All right, gentlemen. Y'all have a lovely evening.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, everybody. Bye, chat. I love
Bye,
you.
chat.
All right. Y'all have a good night.